River Forest is Mike Coglanice, the center fielder, hitting .311. River Forest from Oak Park, 36-4, and defensively for the Tigers with the same as usual. Evers at first, Honiger at second, Opal at shortstop. In the hot corner, Matt Bogle at third, out in left. Nick Steibert, Dave Carruthers in center, Corey Kuba out in right. The battery of James Hutton behind the plate, and Justin Hampson on the mound with a 1.20 ERA. And right away, who sticks out in the lineup for Oak Park River Forest?
I was just about to mention that. Blake Wheeler, the Chicago Tribune first-team All-State shortstop, leadoff hitter, 12 home runs on the year, 568, 38 RBIs, and that's really impressive. Talking about a way to start off the game. Not bad having that for a leadoff hitter.
Not at all, and unfortunately we don't have the stolen bases for Oak Park River Forest. Those were not provided for us, but Whaley is 5'10", 183 pounds, and he is a senior. So Oak Park River Forest got out of a jam in the top half of the first, and let's see if the Tigers can have a 1-2-3 start here at Geneva and Elfstrom Stadium. Here's Blake Wheeler, as John mentioned, hitting .568, 12 home runs, 38 RBIs, and a stat that really sticks out in my mind, and especially in the top four and the heart of the lineup, obviously, for Oak Park, all hitting over 400, is the gap power with the doubles, all of them in double figures, other than the second hitter, Scott Ligon, but he has 8. Hampson's first pitch, the lefty on the hill. He's at 6 foot. First pitch, a ball, a high fastball from Justin Hampson. And when runners get on here against the Edwardsville lefty, it'll be interesting to see what occurs. He's got that great pickoff move. A 1-0 from Hampson to Wheeler. Off-speed changeup inside, ball 2, as Hampson really left that one flat. Bogle even with the bag at third. Wheeler taking his time getting set out of the open stance. His left foot on the line. Hampson on the 2-0, ball 3, and that's not a good start here for Edwardsville. 3 balls, no strikes to the leadoff hitter. Bottom of the first, no score.
Let's hope we can come back, get him, throw a strike here. Wheelie might be taken.
He takes strike 1 right away there, 3-1. Anywhere you throw it close, usually on the 3-0, it's going to be a strike. Outfield straight away. 3 balls, 1 strike. Off speed in there. And it's ball 4. I'm going to have to learn that with this home plate umpire, you really have to take a long time rating his call. It's ball 4, so Wheelie at first here with the base on balls. Here's Scott Ligon, and maybe they will decide to bunt the runner over with the second place hitter in the lineup, hitting .376 with 32 RBIs. And right away, interesting, with Hampson on the hill, I would expect him to go over at least once, and he is. He gets him leaning, but does not pick him off. And in our area, in the Metro East, you hear third base coaches all the time start yelling balk by midway through the game, because it is certainly questionable. He leans that body forward and then even rocks and goes to first. Short lead as Hampson again will go over.
Be interesting, as you said, first time the umpires here have had a look at it. I think they kind of all just had a confused look on their face as well, so maybe it'll take a couple moves before they decide if they're going to call it or not.
We saw a lefty from Olney with not quite the move of Justin Hampson, as the pitch is down the middle or outside rather, for a ball, and it's really difficult to figure out the call from up here. He doesn't even throw up the arm like you see a lot of umpires do. Still not sure, as Hampson again goes to first. He freezes the runner, and he's gunned down at first. And a great start here with a 1 out now, and Hampson picks off Wheelie, and Wheelie gives the umpire at first the word.
That's the way to do it. You walk him. That's all right. We'll just pick him off.
And like what we were talking about on the way up here, we figured that at least one Husky would be picked off today. A large Oak Forest contingent here at Geneva.
Kaiser's going to have a few words with the third base umpire just to get into his head. You can say, hey, keep an eye on that move.
Carruthers shades towards left center. 1 strike or 2 balls, and not sure. I guess it's 1-1. I thought that was certainly a strike, as the Edwardsville faithful. From up here, we can't hear what he's yelling, ball or strike, but it's 1-1. Hampson throws outside corner, and that missed outside.
2-1 if the scoreboard operator's correct.
It was 1-1 there because I saw the home plate umpire throw up the 1-1 before that last pitch. The 2-1 from Hampson, driven into center field, deep, going back Carruthers. That's drilled. That's over the head of Carruthers, off the wall and straightaway center. As Ligon around second, he'll head for third. The throw from Opel to third will not be thrown, and a triple here with a 1 out. A lot of power we saw right away from second place in the order with 2 home runs on the year, Scott Ligon.
And when we talked about it, both clubs are really similar. They both play fundamental baseball, solid hitting. Both have 2 very strong pitchers, 3 for the most part. Good job by Opel also not to throw. We've seen in the first game a lot of balls getting thrown around. 4 errors committed by only. Good job not to throw it. I thought for a minute he was going to try to throw him. I thought Logan had it pretty much beat.
I agree. He was in there 2-3. They would have not had a chance. And this is tough with Vasily Spanos, the third baseman, as he takes ball 1, hitting .452 with 3 home runs and 52 RBIs to lead the Huskies. Runner at third, just like the Tigers had in the top of the first. They stranded 2 in that inning. Hampson inside, and Edwardsville senior left-hander has not been on his game today, just like in the sectional semifinals on Saturday. Hampson off the stretch, runner at third, and Mike Waldo, the Edwardsville pitching coach, will come out and talk things over with James Hutton and the left-hander Justin Hampson.
He probably sees something he don't like. I haven't seen Hampson throw too many fastballs, and he has a very good fastball. It's going elected more with the off-speed, and then to be squeezed with the tight strike zone is not helping him very much out there.
After missing a third of the early part of the year, Hampson was throwing harder this year than what he did last year, and even on Saturday and today, he's not thrown that heat that what he had in the last part of the year. And today he's living strictly with off-speed, and with the bats that the Huskies have, it will be certainly tough. The Tigers may have to score a bunch of runs here today, and they've already stranded 2.
And it's 1 and you're done, so it'd be interesting to see how long they will stick with him if Coach Waldo sees something maybe wrong with his mechanics out there that he don't like.
Edwardsville's ace, Ben Hutton, threw on Tuesday after the postponement of the game from Monday. Otherwise, maybe he would have thrown this game today. That's in there for a strike. Saw the right arm of the home plate umpire. 2 balls, 1 strike. Here against Spanos on deck, then Andy Ralston with 49 RBIs. A cleanup here, swing and a miss. A changeup from Hampson evens up the count at 2 apiece.
Good pitch that time. Pulled the string on him.
Hampson throws fastball, curveball, slider, and change, and really I think he throws one of those slurs that you hear about today, a combination slider off speed. Just missed. Low. Full count now to the third place hitter in the Husky lineup, Vasily Spanos, and that was certainly close. Must have been just a tad low.
Thought the home plate umpire wanted to call it at first, and then he kind of shook his head, and no.
Hampson off the stretch, full count pitch, off speed, low, ball 4, and he escaped. Did Spanos, and it's 1st and 3rd. I would not be surprised if they try to steal as well, as you can talk about both these clubs being so similar, and they certainly are as far as what we've seen so far, and we'll see now with the cleanup hitter if they decide to bunt him up or just take a stolen base with 1st and 3rd.
They got to be cautious of that move as well. They just seen 1 runner get picked off, the only out of this inning so far. I don't know how aggressive they'll be right now.
Hampson's pitch outside, and the control not here in the bottom of the 1st from Hampson. That last pitch, you even saw his wrist kind of bend funny as he threw that fastball, trying to hit the outside corner on the 1-0. Hampson again in there for a strike right at the knees. Clipped the plate right there. 1-1 now to the catcher for Oak Park River Forest. On deck then the designated hitter Gabe Schaub, 1st and 3rd, off speed, grounded. Here comes the play at home. The runner will score. The play at 1st in time for out number 2. The runner at 2nd, but Oak Park River Forest strikes 1st in this quarterfinal game.
A little bit of a bad break. He swung at a ball for 1, but It was an off-speed pitch, so he was way out in front of it, but just hit it soft enough to where it was in no man's land. So good job by Hutton just to go to first and take the out instead of perhaps a big inning. Plus, once Hutton had to grab it, there was no one to cover home plate.
Hampson took a while getting off the mound, and Hutton sprung from the catcher's box, one of the better catchers in the St. Louis area. Hispano sits second. Here's Gabe Schaub. Schaub takes ball one, hitting .306, 27 RBIs, and 4 home runs. Power throughout the lineup of Oak Park River Forest, all the way down to the 6th place hitter. They have some home runs this year. Off speed in there for a strike, evens up the count at 1-1.
It seems to be his best pitch so far today is off speed. Just like to see him throw that fastball in there just a little bit more to keep him honest.
I agree. As there it is, outside, just missing. I would certainly like to see a wider strike zone than what we've seen today and what we saw in the regional for at Alton. A great strike zone by the umpires, and even at the Edwardsville sectional, it was squeezed somewhat. And today we've seen that as well. Very small strike zone. At second, the runner off speed in there for a strike. 2-2. Hopefully here Hampson can get out of this jam with the runner at second and relax a little bit, and his club maybe can put a long inning together in the second. Hampson looks to second, kicks, fires. That's in there for strike 3. It gets away from Hutton. There's going to be a close play at first, and he will reach first at first and third. I heard nobody yell to James Hutton where the ball was, and that should have been, I think, the pitcher's job or at third. So on the strikeout, Schaub moves to first.
I guess you have to call that an error on the catcher, though, because it was a good pitch right at the knees, and it just popped out of his glove. And as you said, Hutton had no idea where it was at. And I'm not saying it's Hutton's fault. It's just, unfortunately, he went right underneath.
Left-handed batter here. Here's Chris Perino, the first baseman. Lefty on lefty. First and third, 2 out. Tigers shaky first inning, off speed in there for a strike, and now we've seen Hampson, the last batter or so, throw more strikes. Maybe too much respect for the top of the Husky lineup. Perino hitting .286 with 20 RBIs, 4 home runs. The 0-1 missed outside and low.
You talked about the top of the lineup. That's the one that does all the damage. From the 6th place, .286, it drops down up until the 9th place hitter batting .311. So hopefully we can get out of it with no more damage.
Inside corner, just missed. Fastball from Hampson. Good view of that, and that just did miss the inside corner. Out of the open stance. 2 strikes. Hampson goes to first, gets the runner leaning, and he makes it back to first. I wonder if we'll see if Hampson stays around here after we're not through 1. If we'll see that play where Evers plays behind the runner and they'll come in. They use that so often with Hampson on the mound. Comes set at the belt on the 2-1. In there for strike 2. Another off-speed delivery from Hampson.
This is Oak Park's first look at Hampson. I'll be interested if he does stay around, if they'll kind of start sitting on that off speed. He's thrown a little too much to my liking.
I agree, as the runner is moving inside corner, strike 3. It took 4 outs in the first. Oak Park River Forest scores 1 run on 1 hit. They also strand 2 runners here in the first. We're through 1. Edwardsville coming to bat in the second. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV Channel 6. In the top of the second, the Tigers are trailing Oak Park River Forest 1-0. It's 6, 7, and 8 here for Edwardsville. James Hutton, Matt Turner, and Andrew Honiger. Fortunately, I think so far that it could be worse than that 1-0, but also the Tigers also have stranded 2 just like the Huskies. The bats are going to have to come alive. You're going to have to score a run to win anyway. Sean O'Neill, the righty, kicks and fires to Hutton, who hits one deep in the left field, way back. Lopez going back to the track, to the wall. That's gone. The first home run of the year for James Hutton. And unbelievable. He had one last year in a big game where they won a ball game last year in the regional. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. James Hutton does have some power. His 21st home run of the year, hitting .333 and north side at one. John, I'm so shocked. Hutton does have power, but he's not shown it this year.
He showed it there right at the right time. You just think he made that little bit of mistake, and then it cost him when he dropped the third strike, but I guess he figured he better make up for it.
And we're knotted at one again, a whole new ball game here. Through one, and we're in the second. Here's Matt Turner, the Edwardsville designated hitter. 23 RBIs, 312. He has 2 home runs on the year. Hitting for Hampton today, Turner hitting .200 in the playoffs. He has struggled. That's in there for a strike, a fastball from O'Neill. Right away, you saw Lopez turn, and you knew that one was deep, and I think it hit right off the middle of the scoreboard, right on the lower half of that middle scoreboard. On the 0-1, Turner hits it up the middle. Coming on is Conglonese. He's there. The big lefty takes care of Turner, but 2 hits on the button for the Tigers.
Yep, they're starting to hit him well. Keep it going now. There's your confidence. You say this guy can be hit.
That's the difference between last year and the 2 previous. The bats eluded them in the sectional. And in this year's sectional, they scored 22 runs, and they've outscored their opponents 33-5 coming into today. Or at 1 apiece here with 1 out. Here's Andrew Honegger, the second baseman, the junior, takes ball 1. Honegger hitting .375 here in the playoffs, 3 of 8. On the year, Honegger hitting .315 with 10 RBIs. Aspanos, even with the bag at third, as Honegger takes strike 1. The wind also blowing out at Elfstrom Stadium today, but I really don't think that had much on that hit by James Hutton. That's a base hit up the middle. Honegger 2-hops it through the hole, and that's where he likes to go, as well as Carruthers. That's a good start for Honegger. I remember hitting from the A spot, as we've talked about a lot through the course of the year at the state tournament. I certainly struggled in the playoffs in '91. I had a hit my first appearance, went 3 for 3 in the first quarterfinal game. Hopefully the same start here for Honegger. That'll be key, the bottom of the Tigers' order. Corey Kuba certainly got hot recently as well. He's up for the Tigers.
I'm going to say both these guys, Honegger and Kuba's been swinging and bat well recently, especially here in the playoffs. Can't ask for a better time to get hot than that.
Kuba hit a big home run against Collinsville, his 4th of the year from the 9th spot. Honegger at first as Kuba takes ball 1. Andrew Honegger has stolen 6 on the year at first here with 1 out, and Kuba just hitting 182 in the playoffs. But you're right, that's a deceiving 182 as he's hit 3 line drives right at outfielders. 279 average on the year as O'Neill throws to first. And we talked about on the way up here again about the war that we thought this would be. We know Oak Park River Forest would be a good ball club, and we've seen the Tigers all year long enough to know that this group certainly competes. The pitch to Kuba, hits it right side. Coming on is Yeisley, and he drifts back, takes care of Corey Kuba with 1 out. He tries to throw out Honegger at first. So he's there now with 2 outs. That brings up the top of the Edwardsville order. Here's Dave Carruthers, who's 1 for 1 today.
Started off with the game with the single, made it all the way to third, but could not score as Evers grounded out to the second baseman to end the threat in the first inning for the Tigers. Kuba once again swung the bat well, hit it hard, but right at the right fielder.
Honegger, short lead at first. O'Neill off the stretch, throws it high for ball 1, and snap throw by Ralston, not in time at first. Honegger now inching off first. Behind the bag is Vasily Spranos at third. Off the stretch. He deals on the 1-0 as Carruthers called timeout, no pitch. Good discipline there by Dave Carruthers as O'Neill was taking way too much time. You don't want to freeze the runner at first.
You talked about the game. Coach Tom Powell, of course, in the paper said, grab a front row seat. This one's going to be a classic. She said the #1 team in Chicago, Edwardsville, the #1 team in St. Louis metro area.
The pitch on the 1-0, Carruthers swings and misses as he tried to pull an outside fastball. And we had a chance to have some brief words with Tom Powell before the game, and was he intense?
Very brief words.
Very, very brief. Intense, unlike what we saw him in the regional and sectional, even more intense than that, as I have thought that he has mellowed throughout the course of the year. Today, he's the same old Tom Pyle. Carruthers takes strike 2 outside. Borderline pitch.
That's the same pitch that Hampson wasn't getting in the latter half of the first inning. Not to start lining already, but
I like to see the consistency in a wide strike zone. And so far, at times, we've not seen that here today. 1-2 now to the Edwardsville center fielder. Honegger not moving. Carruthers hits it right at the shortstop, Blake Wheelie. Easy way on to second on the 6-4. But the Tigers score a 1 run on a 1 hit. They strand a runner. We're through an inning and a half, tied at 1. Oak Park River Forest coming to bat here in the bottom of the second. They have the bottom of the order, 7, 8, and 9. Adam Lopez, Matt Yeisley, and Mike Coglanice. Lopez hitting 261, Yeisley 270, and Coglanice at 311. It'll be a good 1-2-3 here if Hampson can get it in the second.
You said you really got to dominate the bottom part of this lineup, because if you start letting these guys get on base, the top part of the lineup's going to kill you. So very important this second inning for Hampson just to settle down, throw strikes. I'd like to see 1, 2, 3, just like he said.
Make him challenge the hitters as well. I mean, I know they have some terrific quality baseball players, but better to challenge than to walk the ballpark.
Yeah, I agree with you about the wide strike zone, too. No, let them hit. Swing the bat. Make them swing the bat. You start giving them pitchers a tight strike zone, and the hitters not only get more relaxed, they feel, you know, make them throw that perfect pitch. I agree. I just like to see him swing the bat. Not so much that I enjoy offense in the game, but walks to me are part of the game.
I agree, and we saw some of that from the first game here today. A lot of misplays, 4 errors by Alney. A crucial factor, a swing and a miss. Lopez trying to take a hack at the first pitch slider from Hampson. Justin Hampson has already walked 2. He struck out 2, but had to get 4 outs in the first. Takes strike 2. Outside fastball. See what Hampson decides to do here with 2-strike advantage here on Adam Lopez. Hutton sets up outside, the fastball in the corner, and that just missed as Hutton tried to frame it and bring it back to the corner. He sets up now again outside, or rather missed again that direction. 2 balls, 2 strikes. On deck then Matt Yeisley, the right fielder. Lopez, 7 RBIs on the year, no home runs. Hampson kicks and fires. He hits it right side. That may get down, and it will. Good hitting there from the left fielder, Adam Lopez. He took an outside pitch to right field.
Went the other way. I was just going to say, last time we seen Hampson pitch in the Alton sectional, he was getting that outside corner call, and he was almost dominating, allowing 1 hit through his 7 innings of work, I believe. And so we said already early, he's not getting that outside corner like he likes it. He loves to live out there, and it's forcing him to come inside more. And he's got hit hard a couple times already.
Good quality hitting club. Already shown that today when you take the ball where it's pitched. The Tigers do that, and Oak Park River Forest has done the same today, and I don't think they're going to get very many big leads now against Hampson. Yeisley at the plate awaiting the first pitch from Hampson as he kicks, fire, shows bunt, pulls it back, but it's in there for a strike, and maybe did not pull it back quick enough. Clouds are rolling in. The first game was played through mostly sun. It's cloudy now today, and the wind is starting to pick up again. Hampson goes to first, and Lopez short lead over there.
You can almost see the footprints from where the first runner tried to, Wheelie was trying to lead off, had a big lead off, and was picked off.
Bunt not down as he tried to hit it right side, and right off the end of the bat in the hole is Yeisley.
It's always a good way to shorten up the lead, is just pick a runner off, makes them think. They haven't tried to really run since then either.
Hampson has got ahead, but good 2-strike hitting by Lopez, and it's 0-2 as Hampson again back to first, and you'll see this throughout the course of the game. You're familiar with the Tigers, and they throw over quite a bit. Lopez short lead at first. Just a shuffle. 0-2 outside. It's hit right side. Cuba coming on. Can he make the play? He's there. takes care of Isley here with one out now. This is Mike Coglanese, the 9th place hitter, the center fielder, 311 hitting on the year with 9 RBIs.
Good running catch by Kuba. As we always note, Edwardsville likes to play our outfielders just a tad bit shorter than most teams do. And paid off for Kuba that time as he was able to run it down.
Big out here with Wheelie on deck, the leadoff hitter, hitting 12 home runs, 38 RBIs, and hopefully the runner won't be moved up here with one out. Need to get an out, but also important, don't move the runner up even if there's an out recorded here. Hampson comes set at the belt, kicks and fires off speed, inside corner, and just missed. Inside, another slider from the Edwardsville left-hander. Comes set, takes a look at Lopez and goes that direction. Wind now blowing out mostly straight away towards right field. Earlier in the game, it was blowing more towards right center. Hampson kicks, pitches outside, 2 balls, no strikes.
You got to come right after this guy. Make sure there's 2 outs when Wheelie comes up the bat.
He has the defense behind him. I think he's being too fine here. As swung and missed, Coglanese. Off speed, a low pitch from Hampson to keep it down and make him take some hacks at you. Your defense has shown throughout the course of the year that they can get the job done. On the 2-1, Hampson deals, off-speed changeup, just missed inside, and another one that looked to be right there. You talk about, you hope umpires give you the black of the plate, and so far that's not been the case here this afternoon. The 3-1, Hampson has to come, and that's low for ball 4. That's dangerous here, first and second with one out for Blake Whaley, the shortstop, a leadoff hitter, .568 average, who already walked and was caught stealing in the first.
When you think whoever bats in that 9th position would actually see a lot of fastballs with Wheelie, their leadoff hitter, always batting behind you, but not the case that time.
And here comes Ben Hutton, as that's the 3rd walk by Hampson, and Hutton going to the mound, the Edwardsville ace, 16-0 on the year. At the 1.13 ERA, certainly does not walk many batters, 71 strikeouts with 6 walks on the year.
You can't let this one get out of hand early. As you said, there's no sense saving anybody because if you don't win today, you're done.
You know what I think? Why not bring Ben Hutton into this ball game and allow Hampson, if you can pull away with the win, you're tied 1-1, and throw Hampson maybe tomorrow morning. That'll be interesting with the speed of Chicago Simeon that we saw today. They stole a ton of bases in the first quarterfinal game.
The umpire went out to break up their conversation. I'm sure they're trying to buy as much time as possible quickly to get Ben Hutton warmed up.
Hampson has thrown an inning and a third, and I would assume he's nearing the 50-pitch mark. He's walked 3 already today. It's first and second for the leadoff hitter, Blake Wheelie. He kicks and fires, fastball down the middle for strike 1.
We talked about the last time he pitched in the game in Alton where he threw the complete game, or excuse me, he threw 5 innings.
At the Alton
complete game.
Alton Regional, he threw a one-hitter, his
Right.
3rd consecutive.
He only threw like 70 pitches that entire game.
Hampson checks and kicks and does not throw to second. Honiger from second base coming in behind the bag. Big out here, awaiting. The Tigers need it. This game has certainly been slow through 2. Hampson on the 0-1 deals, outside corner. Does not get the call again. Something that was right there. Usually when you see a catcher set up and they hit the glove, they're going to call a strike, and not happening today.
For the most part, he has been consistent, though. He hasn't given it very much. If maybe one time I remember him calling that outside corner for a strike.
Evers made a good save and pushed there by the runner at first, Coglanese. Evers tried to come in behind the Husky runner, and as we talked about, at first and second, the Tigers like to do that. Coglanese trying to break it up with the forearm. Outfield straight away, 2 for the Tigers.
Just going to say, I'd like to hear the Tiger fans make some noise. There are a few up here that made about the 4.5-hour trip. That's what it took us, right? About 4.5 hours?
About 4.5, 4 hours, somewhere like that. Whaley took ball 2.
A little early in the morning.
Certainly, we got up or left real early.
At speed limit.
Bogle, even with the bag now at third. Evers at first behind the runner on the 2-1, off speed inside ball 3 and dangerous. And this may be the last batter for Justin Hampson today. I would not think that Tom Pyle will go much longer with Hampson.
And Hutton's already down there. He's just kind of tossing the ball now, so he's ready to come in.
Didn't throw many pitches, though, on Tuesday. That's drilled into center field. Going back. Carruthers trying to find the ball. That's over his head, and a 3-run home run. Blake Wheelie, his 13th of the year, his 41st RBI, and exactly what you did not want before Hutton came in. Wheelie breaks open the ball game. 4-1.
Good thing here is that Edwardsville bats have been hitting, so O'Neill hasn't been exactly unhittable. So
exactly,
4-1, we're not exactly out of it, but keep it right here now, no more.
Yeah, they have to stop this bleeding so far, and O'Neill, rather, the pitcher for Oak Park River Forest, has not shown the Tigers anything they've not seen before. In fact, I don't think he's as good as what we saw with Brewer with Granite City. They got drafted by the Orioles. Or even, really, what we saw, he's a lot like Greider from Belleville East, and they scored 13 in that game. Off speed, hit off to the left side, and Hampson still on the hill. That's a surprise here with Ligon, who's already tripled to center field today.
Well, I think now with the bases empty, you just hope he settles down and gets some outs. But any more damage, and I think we will definitely see Ben Hutton come into this game.
It's 4 runs, just 3 hits. No errors in the game for either club. Hampson missed low. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hampson wasting no time. Kicks and fires, swung and missed. The changeup outside half of the plate. Big out here. Needs to be recorded. The Huskies with all the momentum in the world right now. Bogle, step behind the bag at third. Outfield, again, straight away. Inside and tight, ball 2. Hutton getting the sign from the dugout. He relays it to Hampson on the way as he deals. Off-speed swung and missed. Big strikeout here with 2 down. The third-place hitter, Vasily Spanos, third baseman, already walked today, hitting .452 with 52 RBIs and 3 home runs.
We talked about it, how important it was for Hampson to work on the bottom of the lineup, and Lopez got on, then he walked number 9 hitter, Coxliani.
They're just like the Tigers. They hit from top to bottom. A low for a ball, fastball from Hampson, and you have to expect that. You have to come in and challenge them at times. Hampson has walked 21 coming into today. Off speed, fouled back to the screen. Evens up the count now at a 1 apiece.
Well, Hampson challenged Wheelie, and unfortunately there, the Tigers just got beat by probably Oak Park's best.
Certainly, I mean, hitting .568, anybody hitting that at any level is a tough player. Swung and missed. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and at times they've had problems hitting Hampson, but this is the strike zone. He can't find it right now, and he has struck out 3. He's had to get out a lot of Huskies so far. Rocks and fires off the line, swung off right side. He spoils an off-speed pitch, outer half of the plate. Good at bat.
For the most
third
part,
baseman.
Sorry, Todd. For the most part, he's had all these hitters off balance, but then talked about the control. He had 3 balls and no strikes on Wheelie before he finally gave in and challenged him, as you said. Wheelie hit it about 420 feet.
It's tough when you get behind. You have to challenge them. It's easier to get ahead and then make them hit your pitch. Swung and missed for the 4th strikeout. The big one at that here. We're through 2 now. Oak Park River Forest scores 3 runs on just 2 hits in the inning, and they lead after 2 4-1. You're watching Tiger Baseball on quarterfinal action here in Geneva on ECTV Channel 6. Todd Zutti, John Fitzgibbons, Gus Codros back at Elfstrom Stadium in Geneva, going to the top of the third. The Tigers are trailing 4-1. A line score, one run rather, 3 hits, no errors for Edwardsville, 4 runs on just 3 hits. No errors for Oak Park River Forest. Here in the top of the third, it's 2, 3, and 4 in the Tigers lineup, and the bats have to get hot right now. Be interesting also, John, to see what pitcher comes out for the Tigers in the bottom half of the inning. The first pitch in there for a strike, and O'Neill has found the strike zone more than what Hampson has today.
I'll tell you, after that home run Wheeler hit off Hampson, he looked good, and the next 2 hitters totally had him fooled. And I don't know. Just don't know.
The 0-1 in the dirt evens up the count. 1 ball, 1 strike to Matt Bogle. Bogle grounded out. He's 0 for 1 today. 315 coming in. 7 for 14 at 500 in the playoffs. Here comes the 1-1 from O'Neill. Down the middle, hit right side, right at the second baseman on the 1 hop. O'Hagan comes up, throws out. Honegger. They can field. They're just like the Tigers in that respect. They're going to make the plays.
That's the second time Ligon has thrown out Bogle, and he's hit the ball hard both times up the middle, but
it's all you can ask from the Tigers as far as hitting.
They're making contact. Hopefully they're going to start falling in for the Tigers.
Opal 0 for 1 today, came in hitting .440. 5 home runs. With a 1 out here, off speed, high, takes ball 1. Opal back in the box. O'Neill getting the sign now from Ralston off the windup. Outside, missed low. So Opal ahead with 2 balls, no strikes.
One time through the lineup, and the Tigers have not struck out, so they are hitting the ball. Just keep plugging away. And as we said, O'Neill's really not been dominating in this game. He's just getting more of the breaks right now.
No doubt, 3-0. Now to Chad Opal. I would assume he'll get the stop sign here from Tom Pyle over at third. You need a runner here with 1 out. The top of the third. O'Neill deals on the 3-0. That's down the middle for a strike, and Opal was heading to first, and he likes the lower strike, I think, than what we've seen, I think, in the Metro East area by the umpires. Opal, I would assume, thought that was ball 4. The 3-1 as the catcher sets up outside. That's strike 2. It's unbelievable that he gets behind 3-0 and he's hitting the strike zone going inside to outside, and a wide gap from where the ball has been thrown.
Low strikes, as you said, and we haven't seen it a lot. Seen the high strikes, seen the outside, but
he hits it up the middle. Coming on is Coglanish. He dives and takes care of Chad Opal. 2 out here in the third. That pitch jammed Opal just a little bit. Here's Nick Seibert. Seibert singled his first time up, or rather walked his first time up. 0 for 0, 413 hitting on the year, 7 home runs, 40 RBIs. And the Tigers have got to score some runs, trailing 4-1 here, top of the third with 2 out. O'Neill starting to gain some confidence, it looks like. Getting ahead of the Tiger batters.
And we talked about it before. He threw a lot of pitches in that first inning, but how many times have you seen pitcher be a little shaky to start and then settle down throughout the game?
The 0-1, Seibert looking from O'Neill. He hits it right side and ahead. So important for pitching to get ahead of the batters.
That's something Hampson wasn't able to do starting off.
O'Neill shakes off the sign. He's ready with 2 strikes outside, and it just missed high.
I was wanting to ask you, though, as a player, you've been to state, you were on the 90 and 91 team that both went to state. Do you think maybe the first game's always the toughest one, where the nerves are definitely going the most?
I agree, especially with the club that has not been here. Seibert grounds it right side, right at Ligon, who gets the bad hop, throws on to first. 3 up, 3 down here, top of the third for the Huskies. They're coming to bat in the third, leading the Tigers 4-1. And yeah, it certainly is. You talk about the quarterfinals, and more important, I think, for a club that has not been here before. That first game, and after that you somewhat relax. And from what we saw in the first game, I think that the winner of this ball game has a good shot to move on to the state championship game. And the second year we were here, we came out guns a-blazing as far as hitting, because we had been here before. Every one of us had played up at state before, and it wasn't the same nervous type thing. The errors were there. We committed, I think, 6 errors in the quarterfinal game, and we did that in the latter half of the year when we were already up 11-1, and we kind of just eased up just a tad. And as we see Hampson back to the mound, that's a surprise as far as what I'm concerned, John.
That was one thing that concerned me a little bit, was maybe the bats. I thought they'd be a little bit timid. As you said, their first time here to state. As we said, they've been swinging the bat well. Just unfortunately, Hampson had a little bit of control problems in the first 2 innings, and not so much control problems as a lot of walks, but as you said, getting behind the hitters, and then the hitters able to sit on what they call a hitter's pitch, which you've heard before. And when you're not getting ahead of the batters, that's just what happens. You look for it in a certain spot, and boom. Wheelie certainly got one in his spot.
Yeah. And I'm the type that you got to challenge the hitters. I'd rather they hit the ball hard and keep hitting it. Maybe your outfielders or infielders can take care of it and maybe make some good plays and help you in the game. But the walks, you know, that just lulls your defense to sleep. And it's very easy to stand up there and take 4 pitches. Here's Andy Ralston. The catcher hits it right side. That's going to drift down the line. Get out of play in the lawn area near the right field line. After Ralston is Gabe Schaub and then Chris Perino. All of these hitters are 0 for 1 today. Tigers trailing 4-1 here, bottom of the 3rd. Hampson still on the hill, outside, and again, that missed high. Hampson is going to have to keep the ball down, because I think this umpire gives you lower than the knees, and that's a hit up the middle. Base hit on the change as Ralston stayed with the changeup from Hampson, and already here in the bottom of the 3rd, the leadoff hitter on base. Although just the 4th hit for Oak Park River Forest. This brings up Gabe Schaub, the designated hitter, hitting .306, coming in 4 home runs, 27 RBIs, 0 for 1. He struck out in the 1st, and he got to first as it was a pass ball. Tom Pyle coming out to the mound, I think, to give Ben Hutton a chance to come in.
He's been down there throwing for a long time.
Between innings, he came into the dugout, and then right before the inning started, he went out there along with Travis Riggs, who's catching him. And that's it for Justin Hampson. Hampson, through 2 innings, he gave up 4 runs on 4 hits. He struck out 4 batters and walked 3. Ben Hutton, the Edwardsville ace, coming into the game now. Very familiar with Ben Hutton, with his statistics. Ben Hutton on the year 16-0 with thrown 80 in the 3rd innings. After the sectional game that he threw, his strikeouts and walks have moved up. Struck out 78. He's walked 7 with a 1.13 ERA.
He threw that great game against Collinsville. 5 strong innings, only allowing no runs. Maybe, what, 3 hits, I believe he allowed?
Just 3 hits, and James Hutton pitched the last 2 innings, so he just threw 5 innings. But Hutton, 44-4 in his career. That's the Illinois State AA record as far as wins.
I believe if Edwardsville was to go on and he could pick up 1 more win, he would have the all-time Edwardsville record with 17 victories.
In a season?
Yes.
I would assume that is. I'm not even sure.
I thought I'd seen that somewhere, that 16 and wins was
You're right, it is. Jason
total.
Boyd in 92 was 16-1. He was the ace. He's now pitching AAA with the Arizona Ball Club out in Tucson. Boyd was 1-0 here at State after in 91 in the semis he defeated Aurora West. Game a slugfest at 16-7. I think in all the games I saw Boyd pitch, that was probably his worst as far as stuff, and he still came through.
Maybe we'll see a slugfest here, and the 2 teams can just go at it. So we definitely need more than 1 run now if we're going to win this one.
12 outs away, the Tigers, from their first loss of the year. Gabe Schaub at the plate. Ben Hutton now on the hill, the righty. As Ralston gets the lead, Hutton steps off.
You said it all along from when the sectionals began that we had a tough draw with Oak Park River Forest waiting for us. They've certainly shown why. Very good hitting ball club.
Good club from the top to bottom there. They play like Edwardsville. It's just the kids are always bigger. Sutton throws to first, the runner back, and a double play would be so huge with the runner at first and nobody out. Bogle on the grass at third. Outfield straight away and deeper than what we've seen the Tigers against other clubs down in the Metro East area as he shows bunt, pulls it back, and Hutton even control-wise doesn't seem to be the same pitcher even in the warm-ups and what we've seen him, and I would assume that the jitters here at State coming to play with the two Tiger pitchers. Set at the belt on the 0-1, goes to first, runner back over there. Tigers now trying to steal an out at first. Hutton on the 1-0, bunted off the leg of Schaub.
Kind of surprising now that Kaiser, the coach for Oak Park, is trying to decide to go with a bunt here. Maybe he feels one more run and he can sew things up, but they didn't go for it in the first inning, and they only scored the one run.
They've come through today as far as big hits. We had a one-out home run. We also had a run being scored with, I guess, nobody out, was it, in the first?
No,
there's a strike from Ben Hutton.
Wheelie was picked off of first base.
You're right, he was picked off, so it came with one out. Tigers had the first, or rather second and third with one out and could not come through in the first. They hit a solo home run. James Hutton, his first of the year, in the top of the second that evened things up. It's 4-1 now. Count 1-1.
And the first run scored when Andy Ralston kind of grounded one right in between home and pitcher's mound. Hutton was able to run out, and only play was the first.
Rather, it was 2 balls, 2 strikes. I thought that was the case. Home plate umpire doing a good job there of signaling to the scoreboard operator here. Hutton decides to call timeout, steps off.
Keeping the runner close, as you said, hoping for the double play ball.
Slow game already, an hour old. We're in the bottom of the third.
Now Hutton's getting some grabbing from the Oak Park crowd over there to our left side.
You'll keep seeing the throw. That won't affect what the Tigers are doing defensively. That jams the batter. It goes to second. Honegger has to go close to first, and that's in time. Just got over the head of Ben Hutton. So Schaub taken care of. The runner moved up as good as a bunt. Brings up the lefty, Chris Perino, the only one in the Husky lineup. Struck out looking in the first and that inning, hitting 286. There's a one out.
Honegger looked like he, at first, was going to go to second base to get the lead runner, but had a little bit of trouble with it in his glove. So then, she said, real close play at first.
Hutton's fastball there jams Schaub. Hutton off the stretch, inside fastball. That just missed.
Right, Hutton don't seem to have the same control we've seen him in his last outing. Not being able to put it exactly where he wants it.
And again, you don't want to complain, but that pitch right there that you get the call in the Metro East area, and you haven't so far, and I think that hit the batter, and it did. It's first and second, but you're right, Hutton's control has also not been there, which is shown right there. Here's Andy Lopez, the left fielder, hitting 261, coming in with 7 RBIs. Lopez 1 for 1 today, one of those 4 Husky hits. Hutton set at the belt, looks to second. He deals off-speed ground ball. That could be a double play ball. Opal flips to Honegger, second on the first. In time, double play, and what a big one at that. The first time in the ballgame that the Tigers do not allow a run is here in the third. We're through 3. It's 4-1. Oak Park River Forest right now. You're watching Tiger baseball in quarterfinal action here at State on ECTV Channel 6. In the top of the 4th inning, the Tigers have up 5, 6, and 7. They trail 4-1 right now. Matt Evers and James Hutton and Matt Turner. Evers 0 for 1 today. James Hutton hit the home run, his first of the year. He's 1 for 1. And Matt Turner lined out to center, so he's also 0 for 1. O'Neill scattered 3 hits so far. The first pitch to Evers off speed right in there. And the lower you throw, the more strikes you get called here. As Evers in the hole now at 0-1.
Also, you can expect the Edwardsville hitters now to make O'Neill work as much as possible, and I don't disagree with that at all, taking the strike. We've talked about it all year long, and Edwardsville is one team that will do it. They will make the pitcher throw. You're only down 3, so by no means are you out of it, but make them work.
You have to scratch and claw your way back right now. Off speed in there for a strike, and seemed to miss outside from our vantage point, but it was strike 2. And one thing we talked about between innings was the depth of the middle infielders. They have the guns that can throw it over to first. Different than what we see in our area, a little shallower shortstop and second baseman. Not by a whole lot. That missed high.
It's one of the keys. We see a lot of Edwardsville players going up the middle, and they managed to cut that off for the most part. 3 ground outs to the second baseman, 1 to the shortstop so far.
Evers takes ball 2, and the scoreboard had 2-1 before that last pitch, and they have 3-1, but I believe they called 2 strikes. It's 2-2.
You are correct, Mr. Zuya. He's going to correct the scoreboard again.
2-2.
All right.
As the home plate umpire does say 2-2.
Right.
O'Neill delayed there for a moment, back on the hill. He winds and fires. He tries to go outside as Evers hits it through the hole, base hit, and that's what the Tigers need to do, even though Evers' front foot, his left foot, bailed towards third base. He kept his body back and drilled it in the right field. So he's on with nobody out.
He got the little off-speed curveball, and as you said, front foot was out, but he did keep the shoulder down, just slapped it in the right field.
So far, John, the only difference in the game is the walks. The Tigers have 4 hits as well as Oak Park River Forest, but they trail by 3 in the walks. The 3 walks have been a key in the game. Only 1 walk given up by O'Neill. What a big time for another big at-bat here from James Hutton. Hutton hit a home run. He's 1 for 1. His first of the year. He takes it high, a fastball for ball 1.
Just base runners, though. We can't get it all back with 1 swing.
Exactly. Evers has stolen 11 on the year. Has some speed, the Edwardsville senior first baseman. Also the goalie on the soccer team that got 2nd in state this year. Upset St. Charles. Playing soccer at Eastern Illinois University, as well as, I assume, trying to play baseball. That's what has been mentioned. Off the stretch, the 1-0, O'Neill looks in. Here he comes, inside. That missed, and right away, the strikes inside are not as much as what they are on the outside corner. Now the assistant coach for Oak Park River Forest will come out and want to talk to the hurler. I believe that's Dick Trout, pitching coach for the Huskies. Wants to settle his big 6'4" right-hander down.
Got to go out there and tell him, hey, big boy, you got a 3-run lead. Let's not play around anymore. Go after these guys.
I mean, your defense has played a super game through 3 innings. Keep throwing the ball in there and hope that, like Evers hit, that it doesn't get through the hole.
A little concerned that Hutton took him deep last time. I'm sure you don't want that to happen again, but you still got to go after him. You can't afford to put him on base, because then you bring the tying run up.
Hutton saw 1 pitch, I think, also, and drilled it out, a fastball down the middle. It's in the inside corner right at the belt for strike 1. Another fastball. 2 balls, 1 strike. Evers, short lead now at first. Real short. Staying there, Hutton hits it down the right field line. He's behind the fastball, actually, that was on the inner half of the plate.
2 strikes now, trying to protect the plate. Just slapping in a play. How about one right up the middle?
Up the middle sounds good. How about through the hole between third and short? Evers back to first.
Yeah, it seems like now the middle infielder is more straight away. For most of the hitters, the second baseman's been pulled over more towards the second base bag. Now he's like backed up in a normal position.
Swing and a miss. The first strikeout for O'Neill, and down goes Hutton. A big out here as the runner was not advanced from first to second. Here's Matt Turner. Turner lined out to center his first time, came in hitting .312 with 2 home runs, 23 RBIs. Turner now 2 for 11 in the playoffs.
Hutton got the fastball, and he just couldn't catch up to it that time. That was one of the hardest pitches we've seen O'Neill throw today.
The first pitch to Turner. 0-0 for ball 1. Winner of this game will play Chicago Simeon. The Wolverines defeated Olney East Richland 10-0 in just 5 innings. Olney East Richland got 3rd place in Class A last year, and we saw them play and we wondered, and finally we're told that it was at Class A last year as Turner hits it right side, and that's going to drift out of play.
Yeah, they committed 4 errors in the game, costly errors, and Simeon actually put them away early with a big first and second inning.
They had scored a run in the first 6 in the second, and the team with some speed. I think they used, what was it, 4 or 5 pitchers, did Olney? Yeah, I lost track after a while. I know they brought one in with, what was it, 1 out left in the 5th inning.
They were shuffling them in and out, from catcher to pitcher to right field to second base. I almost got a headache watching it.
Here with 1 out now, Evers at first. Turner, count 1-1 to the Edwardsville designated hitter. Owen on the fastball from O'Neill. Not much activity so far for Adam Lopez, the left fielder. Nothing hit his direction. Off the stretch, the offering. On the 2-1, Turner takes it for ball 3. Needs some discipline here by Matt Turner.
I was just going to say, O'Neill's throwing a lot of pitches as well. And Hutton just hold him close. I had a feeling that the Tigers might be able to just chip away at this lead and get back in this one.
I think pitching is the key as anything right now for the Tigers. They need some 1, 2, 3 innings. Pitch, Turner takes it for strike 2, and Pyle threw up the hands like, what are you waiting for? Full count now to Turner. On deck, Andrew Honiger, who's 1 for 1 today. Honiger, 4 for 9 here in the playoffs. Came in hitting .315. The 3-2 as Ralston sets up outside. He goes that direction. Turner chased it and swung and missed. Second strikeout in a row, and big ones after the leadoff hit by Evers. And if O'Neill can scatter the Edwardsville hits like he has so far and not walk anyone, it's going to be tough for the Tigers to come back. Honiger will be back next year, just a junior. Right at 140 pounds at 5'8". He smacked one up the middle. Good piece of hitting from the Edwardsville second baseman. 2 outs. Evers at first, not even moving, and Honiger again takes ball 1. And we've seen this inning at least, John, that Sean O'Neill has thrown the first pitch for a ball to every hitter, but he's come back and at least thrown 2 strikeouts.
Yeah, picking up his first 2 strikeouts of the game, and as you said, key situation after he gave up the leadoff single.
The pitch, Honiger back up the middle, base hit, 2 for 2 right up the middle. As Evers hits second, he'll stop there. Coughlin East, the lefty in center, got it in very quickly. Unfortunately for the Tigers, they're doing this with 2 outs, and I'd like to see some back-to-back hits. Why not have about 3 or 4 in a row like they started out the game against Belleville East this past Saturday? Here's Corey Kuba. lined out to right his first time. Cuba has hit 4 home runs. Why not have that same like he did against Council? Hit one deep down the line and left and tie this ball game up. That's what Oak Park River Forest did at first and second. Cuba. Already the first pitch from O'Neill. He hits it, pops it up. That's going to stay in play, giving chase the first baseman. Backpedaling, backplanting. That's over his head, and it drops foul. Unfortunately, as Evers would have scored. Not a good job there by Chris Perino.
He ran to where he thought the ball was going to go, and the wind kept blowing. And then, as said, once he got there, he kind of stopped, and then he had to turn around, and he was in no man's land by then. Just fortunately for Oak Park, the ball dropped foul.
Anytime you backpedal, then you still have to go backwards. It's going to be tough to make the play. That's why they teach you to get at least 2 steps behind it and turn and run and do that, and you can always come in. So Cuba has life here. The 0-1. O'Neill looks to second. That's where Evers is at. He fires off speed in there for strike 2, and now Corey Cuba has to shorten up his swing and just stroke it. Into the outfield. On deck, the top of the Edwardsville lineup, and Dave Carruthers, who's 1 for 2 today.
Get some base runners and get the rally going.
Base hit through the left side between third and short. A huge hole there. The 0-2 as Corey Cuba calls timeout. Pyle telling Evers to lengthen his lead at second.
O'Neill's taking a lot of time to work here, too. Might be getting tired out there on the mound.
Each of these clubs have won 1 state title. Tigers in 1990 and Oak Park River Forest in 1981. The 0-2 in there, off speed, swung and missed, and another big strikeout, the 3rd in the inning. The Tigers strand 2 more runners, the 5th for the game. They now have 5 hits, more than Oak Park River Forest, but that's not the category on the scoreboard that counts. They trail 4-1 for Oak Park River Forest. Facing Hutton here in the bottom of the 4th. They have up 8-9, and then to the top of the order in Blake Wheeling, who is already homered today. He's 1 for 1, his 13th of the year.
You talked about it. It's just a matter of scattering the hits. The Tigers have had a hit in 3 of the 4 innings thus far. In fact, they put 2 together in the second, 2 in the 4th, but on only 1 run, and that coming from the Hutton home run. O'Neill now, last couple innings, been showing a nasty curveball that I didn't see earlier in the game, but he broke that one off about a good 3 feet, and it wound up outside as Cuba chased it.
Some activity now in the Oak Park River Forest bullpen. Maybe they're going to save the pitcher. He's thrown 4 innings, gave up just 1 run on 5 hits. He's now struck out 3 Tigers.
It's interesting, too, that you bring that up. 3 games it takes to win state. Most teams up here have 2 strong pitchers. It's a case of what do? You said in the 91 it was almost a case of running out of pitchers. You threw 2 solid ones. The 3rd game, which the game you guys lost to break up the winning streak. Just a case of running out of pitchers. Do you save a pitcher in hopes for that 3rd game?
Off speed, lifted into left field. Seibert going back, still drifting. He takes care of the batter. That is Yeisley, I believe, for Oak Park River Forest, and it is. He's 0 for 2 today. Lined out to right his first time, and now flew out to left field. Here's Mike Conklin-East. He walked in the 2nd and scored on that 3-run homer by the on-deck hitter Blake O'Whaley. And that looks to be Chris Perino, the left-hander, in the bullpen for the Huskies. First pitch outside and low from Hutton. We'll just give you his stats here as Hutton continues to work back on the hill off the wind. He does not waste much time, but right now wasting more than we usually see him waste. Fastball high, he's behind it, 2-0. Perino 4-1. He's thrown 28 in the 3rd innings. Struck out 30, walked just 6, and a 2.47 ERA. The depth of the pitching for the Huskies is there. Fastball right down the middle and fouled off, and I would have liked to see Hampson do that with his 9th place hitter the last time he batted, because that was, to me, the key person that walked in the 2nd. 2-1, hit right side, and that drifts down the line on the ground foul.
The walks always seem to kill you, and that's what she made the point earlier. That's what did it today. And at least challenge him if he's going to get on base, make him earn it.
Two-strike pitch from Hutton. Off speed, popped up. Evers is going to give chase and let it go because it's back in the stands in the Tigers section. Bounced all the way back on the playing surface. I really don't want to see Wheelie hit very much more today. He's on deck. He's at least going to hit this inning. I like to see some about 9 retired in a row for the Tigers. We don't want to see him much more today. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hutton, the offering on the way inside and grounded right back. Comebacker to Hutton on to first for the second out, and 2 up, 2 down, and Hutton has started to look better here in the 4th.
He fell behind 2-0, and then he just put his head down, said, I'm coming right after him, started throwing the fastballs, and got a little grounder right back to him.
This brings up Blake Wheelie. He's already a homer to 3-run, and that's the difference in the game. They lead 4-1. Does Oak Park River Forest. 13 homers on the year with 41 now RBIs. Came in hitting .568.
We should only see him 2 more times if the game goes according.
Open stance. He comes back in, and that's popped up on the infield. Going back is Honegger. He calls for it in the first 1-2-3 inning for the Tigers. Wheelie is done for the day. We've retired him. He's 1 for 2. We've played now 4 innings. The Tigers are trailing. All right, now 4-1. They'll come to bat here in the 5th. They're 9 outs away from their first loss of the year. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV Channel 6. In the top of the 5th, you see it right there. There's the story. The Tigers are trailing 4-1, but they've out-hit Oak Park River Forest. Just not to been able to group their hits together in this one. The 3-run homer by Blake Wheelie, the difference. Tigers' lone run on the home run by James Hutton. Top of the order for the Tigers here in the top of the 5th. Dave Carruthers, Matt Bogle, and Chad Opel. Carruthers 1 for 2 today. Bogle and Opel are 0 for 2. First pitch off speed outside to Carruthers for ball 1.
We left our caps in the car. It's almost time for the rally caps to be applied, and we left them in the car.
Tigers certainly need a rally, John.
9 people come to the plate this inning.
Be a great way to start as Carruthers takes ball 2, and I'd like to see a walk or a hit start things off here. They need a big, big inning in the 5th.
He's pretty solid.
The 2-0, Carruthers loops it up, going back. Coghlanese still drifting lefty. It's over his head to the wall as it 1-0. Coghlanese runs into the wall. Carruthers hitting second. The throw there, they could gun him, and they don't get the throw up. A leadoff triple for the Tigers, and a great way to start the top of the 5th.
Good aggressive base running. You never want to make that first out at third base, but Carruthers knows his speed. He just put his head down and chugged on in there. The relay throw looked good, but the shortstop chose not to throw it with the...
I think he bobbled it, it looked like at least. And Dave Carruthers, 2 for 3 today, the most consistent hitter for the Tigers, especially since mid-April after that point where he was inserted into the leadoff spot. Get things going for the Tigers. Bogle now at the plate with nobody out. Bogle today 0 for 2. He's grounded out to second twice. We need some hits in a row here. Bogle takes ball 1.
Not a bad way to start off the inning. We only need, what, 8 more players now, and that was right.
Hey, let's get 8 in a row here. Have a big inning and get up at least like about 10-4. They 1-0. O'Neill outside. Let's see more of that. On deck then Chad Opel. Tigers certainly have to be patient. They have the bats that can get back in this game now with their ace on the hill, Ben Hutton. He's shut down for 2 innings now. Oak Park River Forest. Carruthers late at third. The 2-0 to Bogle as O'Neill goes to third. Also, in the first game, a lot of throwaways. Could use that here, but Oak Park River Forest, no doubt, the #1 team in the Chicago area. They've been solid today as far as fielding.
Main thing now is get this runner home from third with nobody out.
The 2-0. Bogle takes it in there for a strike as it got away from Ralston for a second. Inside it. Powell telling Bogle to make sure it's in your zone on the 2-1. It didn't really like the called strike there. He thought it was inside. Although, obviously, the home plate umpire a better view there. Every time he's falling behind, he's come right back to throw a strike. The 2-1 in there. Bogle up the middle. Base hit. Carruthers will score. It's 4-2. 2 hits in a row. And I think that's the first time in the game that we've had 2 hits in a row, and it is.
Yes, it is, and finally we catch a break. We said they've been hitting it hard all day, and finally it gets through the hole. Just for a moment, the way it's been going today, I thought he was going to dive and come up with that somehow and throw him out, but they got through, and now we got something started.
Hey, let's get more going in the fifth with nobody out. Runner at first. Bogle now 1 for 3. And the Edwardsville crazy, Dave Carruthers, got things going here with the leadoff triple, and that's what his teammates call him. Tigers was sporting their new dues. They're bald this year instead of the crew cut. And Carruthers, that's a shock to me. Locked it in. Opal going back now. Coghlan East going back, turns around over his head, and he takes care. No, it's down. We thought he had it. Bogle going to third, a double there by Opal, and in that direction as far as it is, hard to see. Second and third, a base hit, and we're tied. 3 hits in a row. Opal has that power, and he's shown more today than what we have at the complex. It's 375 at the Edwardsville home field, and it's 400 out there. Those would be gone at the complex.
You just talked about it, backpedaling on the ball, and that's exactly what the center fielder did. He was backpedaling, thought he was there, and then all of a sudden he had to turn around, and I knew he was pretty much gone when he had to spin around like that, and it just did get down, bounced up off the wall, and
that's it for Sean O'Neill. He's done.
And Bogle, unfortunately, had to kind of stay halfway between because he wasn't sure if it was going to be caught, or he pretty much could have scored on that one. Instead, it's second and third. We'll take it and be happy with that. Let's see if Perino now can come in and try to stop out this Tigers fire they got burning.
Keep it rolling here. Schaub now moving to first, and Perino on the hill from that spot. And Coghlan East so far has been the chink in the armor for the Huskies. I know the wind is blowing out that direction to center, but you've got to keep going back and back, look over your shoulder and glance, turn your head and just go, and then look and try to find the ball. You can't keep backpedaling. He turned himself around, and it got down. I thought he made the catch there. He got the right hand, his glove hand up, and I never saw the ball come down. It's so far in center.
I just seen it kind of come down. As he said, once he spun around, he normally, as a center fielder, you like to just, she said, run straight back. Almost what I like to do when I played out there was get to the wall, and then if you had to, come back in, because it was hit pretty deep. It almost bounced off the track before it finally did land. And still nobody out. That's the big thing. You have to get these runners home that are in scoring position with nobody out.
Certainly, if this would be the momentum for Oak Park River Forest, that they could take control of it if they get 3 outs in a row and no run. The Tigers, if they tie it or take the lead, they could have the momentum now with Ben Hutton on the hill.
He said Hutton now has come in and retired. Hutton hasn't given up a hit yet, as it was in the 3rd inning. Hampson gave up the single, then Hutton came in, got 1, 2, 3 there, and then shut him down 1, 2, 3 the last inning. So he's really rolling. Big momentum switch going on right here in front of our eyes.
Gap shot in the left center. Sounds great to me. Cyber 1 for 2 today. Leads the team with 7 home runs. The first pitch high from Perino and almost got by the catcher. He didn't think he had it. I don't know if he was maybe trying to get the runner to go off third. But
sometimes that's a little ploy that the catcher acts like he don't know where it's at. But
the reason I wasn't sure about that was that catcher in the regional, I believe it was for Granite City, broke the web of his glove and it stuck in there, and he thought it got behind him. He did the same thing, that quick turnaround. 1-0 now. Perino, the lefty, on the hill. Kicks and fires. Fastball high. 2-0. Cyber now can look for something to drive in his box. Perino is a 6'1", 185-pound senior. On the hill, he's fallen behind of Seibert, who's just 165 pounds in the cleanup spot. Way in the hole now. Wheelie is short. Behind Opal, he comes in behind. Perino kicks and delivers. Fastball high, ball 3, and now I would assume Seibert will get the stop sign. On deck, the Edwardsville first baseman, Matt Evers. He's 1 for 2 today. Singled in last inning in the 4th. Some more activity in the Oak Park River Forest bullpen. Number 21.
21 down there.
21 is Andy Hoffman, who just threw their ace. Undefeated on the season at 10-0. Both teams pulling out all the stops today. 3-0. That 3-0 pitch right down the middle. That was not one of those you could call a 3-0 strike that was anywhere close. Right down the middle.
He just kind of laid that one in there, and she said you had the stop sign, but you don't see too many of them in that bat.
Off the stretch, set at the belt. Perino looks to second. Gets the sign, kicks. Ball 4, bases full of Tigers with nobody out, top of the 5th, trailing 4-2. They've already scored a 1 run after 3 hits in a row, 2 triples and a single. By the way, that was Opal's, I think, 6th triple of the year. Leads the team, I think, Carruthers, that's his 2nd. As a train goes through left field at Lampier Park in Springfield, where the tournament used to be played, it was out in right, but we still have the train. Something I thought when I talked about coming up here, I thought I'd miss, but they still have the train. Bogle at 3rd, Opal at 2nd, Seibert at 1st. Evers at the plate with nobody out, hitting .418 coming in, 5 home runs, 36 RBIs. Perino comes set, kicks, ball 1. Inside, Perino has now struggled with control, and the Tigers have to be very disciplined.
He's not, except for that one he laid in there, he hasn't come close to the strike zone, and he's leaving a lot of stuff high, which maybe he's not coming all the way through with the pitching motion.
How great would a grand slam be right now? 7 for 15 in the playoffs. Evers hits it right side, a fastball right down the middle, evens up the count, 1 ball, 1 strike.
It's important for that pitcher to get full extension and bend the back fully, and it appears Perino just might not be doing it enough, leaving a lot of them high. I'd like to see him leave one high right at the eyes of Evers.
Bases full, 1-1, here it comes. Perino off speed, curveball in there for a strike. Actually, I think that was a slider from Perino. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and Evers now a strikeout could be killer. Have to put the ball in play, at least get the sac fly. Nice slider.
I like it.
As now Schaub at 1st on the grass. Almost on the grass is the 3rd baseman as Evers spoils it. Good job there by Matt Evers. Spanos, 3rd baseman, on the grass, and at the corners infield, middle double play depth in the middle infield. Playing up the middle again with Opal, the runner at 2nd. Huge hole between 3rd and short.
This is a key at bat right here. Key at bat. Nobody out. You have to put the ball in play. A strikeout changes the whole complexion of this inning.
Double play as well. Kicks and fires. 2 strikes. It gets away from the catcher. That's the ball. Whoa, that slider. Cut. You could tell. Sharp breaking slider. I thought that the home plate umpire was going to ring up Evers there. Fortunate, he has some life. 2 balls, 2 strikes. He just missed.
Even a double play 6-4-3 would get the run home, but a strikeout not only gets him 1 out, but then a chance for a double play to take him out of the inning without scoring any more runs.
Slow roller even as they go to 2nd. Opal back, a slow roller between where you usually see the shortstop. Could be a run for the Tigers and even a base hit. That's a gap that you don't see as wide as what the Huskies are giving the Tigers. Down 4-2 Edwardsville. Bases full, nobody out. 2-2 to Matt Evers. Perino deals. Fastball drilled in the center. That's deep. Going back Conklin East to the track, to the wall. Grand slam Edwardsville as the bench explodes. And for the first time in the game, Edwardsville with the lead. It's 6-4 Tigers. Top of the 5th. Matt Evers with his 6th homer of the year. His 40th RBI. And they've drilled some shots to center field today. Wow, what a change in the game. Evers on the 2-2 has drilled it.
He got the fastball from Perino, and he didn't miss it. 2 strikes, and you just talked about that good pitch he fouled off, a hard slider, and he just got a piece of it, fouled it off. Then the borderline pitch that just missed, he got the call on the ball, and then he didn't miss that one, drilled it. The Tigers lead it 6-4.
Unbelievable. The Tigers leading 6-4, and their bats have been smoking today. They came into this inning, what was it, with 5 hits on the day, and now they have 2 triples in this inning, a base hit and a home run, and 9 hits for the Tigers. 5 more than Oak Park River Forest. James Hutton has already hit a home run. He takes strike 1. Momentum in this one. The Edwardsville faithful up in force. Chicago Simeon awaiting the winner. The pitch high. Perino. Now the Tigers 9 outs away from a win, as we talked about them down 4-1. Oak Park River Forest has up in the bottom of the 5th, 2, 3, and 4. You don't want to get that top of the order up much more. Inside ball to James Hutton. 2-1. You knew when that one was hit by Evers, the sound of it, that looked to get out of here, especially with the wind blowing deep. Hutton ready to hit. In there, swung and missed. Hutton is homered and struck out today. The inside pitches have fooled him. That was off speed. Right on the fist. Here it comes, Hutton swung and missed as he strikes out for the first out in inning number 5. He struck out twice. Here's Matt Turner. Turner today 0 for 2, struck out in the 4th and lined out to center in the 2nd inning.
Think the score is going to stay 6-4 the way this game's been going?
No. The Tigers need to keep going. If they could get another rally in this inning, that could be huge for their cause. I honestly don't think, although they got Hutton on the hill, who does not walk people, that'll help. It certainly will. Tigers bats have been pumping today. A slider, as we have a stoppage of play. Not certain to see what that, a ball from the bullpen went out in the left field. With Hoffman, the ace, warming up there. Each of these teams pulling out the stops today. You have to.
I'm surprised we aren't seeing Hoffman in right now. Kind of like what Pyle did earlier after Hampson gave up the home run. He went ahead and left him in there with the bases empty until that next runner got on him. That's probably what we'll see here. If the Tigers can put one more runner on, we might see the end of Perino.
Umpire saying no count, but there was a 1 pitch. It was a ball, a slider. As Turner takes it in there for a strike, it's 1-1. I don't know if the ball was out and left and he called it not a pitch, but it was certainly a ball. He showed up his fists. They have up on the scoreboard 1-1. We'll stick with that. Fastball high, ball 2. They have the home plate umpire 1-1, but from us it should be 2-1.
No pitch on that one.
The official scores have said that there was no pitch on the one. That's unfortunate. Count evened up now at 1 apiece. Perino to Turner on the way. Slider in there, and he's shown that slider to be his most effective pitch. The fastballs have been hammered. O'Neill threw 5 innings. He gave up 8 hits and 3 strikeouts, 1 walk. He gave up 4 runs after 2 of those last ones were credited to him. Inside as Turner checked his swing, no go. Good check swing there by Turner. The head of the bat not pointed towards first. His body was certainly pulled out, but not the bat. Turner trying to get something started with the Tigers, having new life, up 6-4. Grand slam by Matt Evers. They've hit 2 home runs today. We'd like some more work up here, a couple more games. We don't want to go home. We don't want to make that trek back to Edwardsville, that 4-hour trip.
I'd take 2 more games as long as we ended it with the winning. Nope.
High to Turner, fastball as he turned the head. The Tigers so good at rotating and turning their back and shoulder to the ball inside. Honegger on deck. He's 2 for 2 today, and just like I talked about when I was in the ace slot, Honegger has come through today with 2 hits, both up the middle. The 3-2, Perino. Slider, high, ball 4. Tigers with another runner on base with 1 out. Turner has stolen 10 this year. Tigers haven't run much today. Andy Ralston, from what we've seen in the warm-ups, with a solid throwing arm. First time that Honegger, I think, has seen Ralston, but I'm not completely positive. It was around that time that we saw Perino come into the game. The pitch, or rather, no, it was this inning, wasn't it? So, yeah, this is certainly the first time that he's seen Ralston as he throws ball 1 to Honegger. You saw that on the screen. Unbelievable power by the Tigers today. I know the wind's blowing out, but the center, they've hit 4 shots that way, up against the wall a couple times. A home run off the Pepsi scoreboard, out in left by Hutton. Grand slam by Evers to center.
We said by no means was O'Neill dominating, and it was just a matter of the balls getting through, and that's exactly what happened.
It was right at the time that We were talking about how well he started to look. That things fell apart on the 1-0 to Honegger. In there, he hits it up the middle. That's right at Coglanice. He takes care of Honegger on the lineup. He's 2 for 3 today here with 2 out. Turner at first. This is Corey Cuba. Let's see him get rolling here. He's 0 for 2 today with a line out and a strikeout. But, boy, the last 2 or 3 people that I have worked with, you twice now and John Vodakovich, who has worked with us, you guys have been prophesizing a couple of times. When we need big rallies, you've come through, right as Vodakovich came in the East game when it was tied at 3 in the 5th. Or he exploded for 6 runs. You today, between innings, are like, you know, I want to get a room tonight and spend the night here. I don't want to go home. It was looking bleak, down 9 now, or down with 9 outs left. As there goes Turner, the throw. He will steal second. Turner with his 11th of the year. Edwardsville designated hitter now in scoring position. A great 2-out hit by Cuba here. Would be big. A 1-0, says the home plate umpire. That was a ball. Cuba could just get a base hit through the hole.
Well, I said I wanted to see 9 men come to the plate this inning. Get a little greedy now. I want to see 10.
Why not? Let's have 10. Let's have a base hit, not just a walk here. We want a base hit and a run. Let's go up 7-4.
I do not think the score will wind up 6-4.
I don't either, the way this one is going. Hopefully, though, with Hutton on the hill, they will stop everything. Off speed outside. Have on the board now 1 ball, 1 strike.
Hutton did take care of their big power hitter, though, Wheelie, in the last inning. So maybe he can settle it down and we'll come away with the victory.
Turner at second, 2-out Cuba, 1-1, inside corner for a strike, and the first time I've seen a strike called in that position. It is a strike, I think, but he has not given the corner very much today. I was certainly right at the corners, at the belt. So Cuba has to protect here. Needs to make some contact, make the defense make the play. Perino winds and deals. Here it is. Cuba fouls it off right side, and that's going to drift down the line. Sham comes up and takes care of it. Edwardsville faithful now have somewhat calmed down after that grand slam by Matt Evers. Up 6-4. Trailed in this inning, coming in a 4-1.
Sure got quiet on the left side of us over here.
They certainly were enjoying Hutton throwing to first and making some noise when the Tigers were in the field. Now the Tiger faithful starting to clap. 1-2 to Cuba. Runner at second. He takes ball 2 high. Perino has also thrown a lot of pitchers, and no matter who comes out of this game, it's been a battle, and a battle and a war like Pyle said it was going to be. And each team has used a lot of pitchers, and we're just in the 5th. Already about 2 hours old. Kicks on the 2-2. Cuba takes ball 3, throws to second, getting back Turner. He's lanky at 6'3", 165 pounds with that long reach. He had a lot of space to move and get to second.
He was almost about a fourth of the way down the line, too. Quickly recovered and dove back in.
Wind is whipping here now, John, at Elfstrom Stadium. I don't want to see that. I'd like to see it switch and move strong in. Tigers have the runs they need. They just need 9 outs in a row. The 3-2, Cuba takes ball 4, and so we've seen 9 race, but we want a hit and a run, and nobody better than Dave Carruthers, who's 2 for 3 and started this one with a triple.
He started the inning with the triple, came around to score on the RBI hit by Bogle. And then we said the key at bat was Matt Evers. He had the 2-strike count on him, fouled the pitch off, took the borderline pitch, and then drilled it to deep center field and out of here. And that is the Tigers' lead right now, 6-4, as in comes a new pitcher for the Huskies.
You see the view there of Carruthers getting the towel, but as John mentioned, that's it for Chris Perino. Coming on is the ace of the staff for the Huskies, Andy Hoffman. Wasting no time, Hoffman 10-0, throwing 67 in a 3rd innings. Struck out 72 and walked 20 with a 9.98 ERA. Carruthers never did face Perino. Perino just went 2 1/3 innings. I believe he just gave up 1 hit, but 2 runs. I have this feeling, yes, after the walk, he did walk Seibert. He struck out 1, walked 3 batters, 3 in this inning, and that's huge for the Tigers as well. The losing pitcher, though, would be Perino.
And talking about pitching, if the Tigers can hang on to win, Hutton will pick up win number 17.
He would have won, I believe now, 3 in a row and 4 of the 5 in the playoffs.
That's right, he came in relief and picked up the victory in the game in Alton. No, not in Alton, the game after that.
Anybody up in this area, you're correct, anybody in this area or in the St. Louis area that questioned the Tigers' 37-0 record and their ranking in the country needs to come out and watch. We face the 3 tops for Oak Park River Forest. We've knocked 2 and 3 out where they go to number 1, and let's see what happens here. A big hit now would be huge for the Tigers. Otherwise, maybe Hoffman could get some momentum after coming and getting the big out. You never know. Tigers really, with runners on, need to continue this.
The Tigers brought in Hutton, their big ace, and he's done the job so far and shut him down, and that's just what the Huskies are hoping Hoffman can come in and do, although they do have someone else warming up in the bullpen as well.
That is number 16, Jonah Ansell.
The Tigers have someone warming up as well in their bullpen.
That's Ben Hutton. Hutton just getting some work. He's a long inning. Carruthers at the plate, first and second, 2 out. He hits it right side. That drifts down. It curves off out of play. Carruthers started this, as you mentioned, John, with that big triple over the head of Coglanese out in center, right off the Edward Health Services Corporation sign, right in between that and the blue area out there. Carruthers falls behind of Hoffman. I like to see Carruthers at least get a base hit on the left side, anywhere possible though. Off speed, high, 1-1. I can't believe the Tigers, a team that likes to pull the ball and hit it through the hole over there. Especially recently, earlier in the year, it was strictly up the middle right side, the Tigers, but they can pull the ball. The pitch from Hoffman as he comes set, looks to second, long look. Carruthers ready to hit. Oh, ball 2, 2-1.
That's been the key with these last 2 relievers coming in, not being able to get ahead of them, as O'Neill had been early in the game, then started falling behind, struggling with his control, and no one's able to been put it together so far, at least not Perino.
Exactly, and I'd like to see this Husky faithful get more out of this game with Carruthers right at the second baseman. Very unfortunate. He hit it right on the head. The Tigers, though, score 5 runs in the inning. Let's count out here the hits. I believe there was just 4 hits in the inning, but they score 5 runs, and we're through 4.5 innings. They lead for the first time in the game, 6-4. Up is 2, 3, and 4 for Oak Park River Forest. Ben Hutton going to work here. He's thrown now, Hutton, 2 innings. 2 each for Hutton, 2 for Hampson. Hutton would be credited for the win. Perino with the loss as far as we stand, but folks, don't expect the 6-4 score to hold up. Any surprises so far, John, with these 2 highly touted clubs?
It's pretty much gone as a... First, I thought maybe we'd have a little bit lower scoring game, but the Tigers showing power. We knew, we said at the opening of the telecast that this Huskies club has power, so it shouldn't be too surprising, although the way the ball's flying out of here today, if anything, that's maybe the surprise.
The wind blowing out, and I would assume the same. The Tigers' power has been the shocker as far as what I'm concerned. And we'll take a quick break right before the inning to change tape. It's 6-4 Tigers. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV Channel 6. In the bottom now of the 5th, Hutton on the hill. That's 2 strikes, 1 and 2. A quick change of the tape for us. Tigers up 6-4 here in the bottom of the 5th. Need Ben to get a big, quick inning here with 2, 3, and 4. Only want to see the top one more time. Swung and missed for strike 3, and a good start for the Tigers for the 2nd inning in a row. And for the only 2 innings of the game, they've retired the leadoff hitter, and that's really big.
Hutton's come in now and faced 7 batters and has set 7 batters down back to the dugout. Let's hope he can keep rolling.
Here's Vasily Spanos, who's 0 for 1 today. Walked and struck out, that being against Hampson. Came in hitting .452. Ground ball right side. Evers knocks it down. He'll have to flip to Hutton, who's there in plenty of time. 2 up, 2 down very quickly for the Tigers here in the bottom of the 5th. Good solid baseball being shown there. Evers just knocked it down. Hutton there in plenty of time for the easy out. Cleanup hitter Andy Ralston, the catcher, now at the plate. He's 1 for 2 today. Anything better, John, than this here in the 5th. The Tigers really need it to get back to their heart of the order.
Start setting them down. And then you got that bottom of the lineup up that Hutton was able to take care of in the 4th.
Inside fastball for ball 1, and you're right, 7 in a row he's retired. Has been Hutton. Trying for the 2nd inning in a row to go 1-2-3. Off speed, missed outside. James Hutton tried to bring it back. I'm sure from the Edwardsville section they thought that was a strike, but from up here, James Hutton certainly brought that back about half a foot. The 2-0. Hutton off speed, missed outside. He needs to come right after Spanos, or rather Ralston, now at the plate.
Spanos grounded out.
There's a strike right down the middle. The fastball come right at him, Ben. Up 6-4.
I believe Spanos was the 8th player in a row that has been retired by Hutton now.
Swing and a miss. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So we see some other teams now coming to the park in uniform. Next game between Ottawa, the Pirates, and Tinley Park Andrew. They're ranked in the country. Last I knew, they were 19. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 2nd inning in a row. 3 up, 3 down. The Tigers 6 outs away from advancing to the semifinals and improving to 38. And they have 2, 3, and 4 when we come back for the top of the 6. We'll take a very quick break. You're watching Tiger Baseball in quarterfinal action here in Geneva on ECTV Channel 6. In the top of the 6th, Tigers 6 outs away from advancing, leading 6-4. They have 2, 3, and 4 here against Andy Hoffman, the ace for the Huskies, and for the play-by-play of the 6th. Here's John Fitzgibbons.
Thank you, Todd. And the wind blowing out here at Elstrom Stadium, as well as the baseballs. 3 home runs already in this game. 2 for our Edwardsville Tigers, and they are on top 6-4. Leading off is Matt Bogle, 1 for 3 on the day, grounded out to second twice, and then an RBI single back in that big 5-run 5th inning, and takes one low in the dirt to start off from the Huskies ace, Andy Hoffman.
Certainly the control of Perino and even O'Neill an inning or so ago, or actually the last inning, they've been falling behind the Tigers, a key to this 2-run lead.
The next one is low as well, and 2-0, and Bogle is up there now with the hitter's count.
He can look for something in that zone that he wants on 2-0 and drive somewhere.
Here comes the next one quickly from Hoffman. It's driven into left field and deep. It's back again to the walk-on. Home run for Bogle, to 3rd. Home run of the day for Edwardsville, and they lead it 7-4.
This is unbelievable. The wind is blowing out as you got that shot of the American flag before the inning. But a leadoff homer, and the Tigers up 7-4. That's the 3rd for Bogle and the 16th RBI. The Tigers have shown some power today. And these kids are about 165, 185 pounds. You go to Oak Park River Forest, they're 200, 190. You come up to Chicago, you meet teams like that. But the Tigers have shown some pop, and 3-1 in home runs and up 3 runs.
You talked about it at the beginning, the power up and down the lineup, it seemed like, for the Huskies lineup, and it's the Tigers that are showing the power here.
It's been, so far, it's been number 5 in the order, number 6 and 2 for the Tigers that have hit home runs.
And here's Chad Opal. He is 1 for 3 on the day with a double back in that 5th inning. He looks at one outside and 1-0 the count.
And Edwardsville's crowd is into this game. Oak Park River Forest kids even look dejected, as well as their dugout. They need to pick it up. They're 6 outs away from ending the season.
And keep in mind, this is their ace on the mound now. Fastball off the glove of Hoffman. Opal's going to beat this out for an infield single, and the Tigers keep on rolling.
Opal right away, even though it was hit hard up the middle, he thought from his angle, probably the same angle we have, that the pitcher may get it. He was hustling and sprinting. He made it to first, and a surprise here. As we look at the line score, John, Tigers, 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors. Even the dejected Tigers, and they did not play a real good first inning, just 4 runs, 4 hits, no errors. They were in control. The Tigers now in the scoreboard look to be much in control.
And Nick Seibert's up he is 0 for 1 on the day, and he skies one into right center field, blowing off against the wall. Seibert's going to hustle into second. They're going to try to score. No, Chad Opal holds up. Seibert winds up at second base with a double. And second and third with nobody out, and the Tigers have already scored a run here in the top of the 6th inning.
Even though here with second and third, that was a misplay. You have to go back with the wind blowing out. The right fielder, Matt Yeisley, really gave that one a double. Should have been taken care of as Seibert popped it up. But even though we're broadcasting for the Tigers, something good that you could see right there. The third baseman, Vasily Spanos, backed up the throw. The throw went away from the cutoff man. He was alert enough to realize he had to back it up. Otherwise, the Tigers could have had man on third with another run being scored.
And so to the mound again goes Jack Kaiser, the head coach in the Hall of Fame for these Huskies. And they'll talk things over here as the Tigers lead 7-4. Bogle led off the inning with the home run. Now 2 consecutive hits, and the Tigers are in position to score more and hopefully put this one away.
They need to now. 6 outs away, with second and third, they have to score these 2 runs, get up 5. Be tough for Oak Park to come back. They're capable, but you think they'll walk Matt Evers here after grand slam the first time? Give it up to James Hutton, who struck out twice his last 2 at-bats. I wouldn't be surprised. Although you don't want it with 1 out here. You don't want, or actually nobody out. My fault, nobody out here again. You don't want to give them a huge rally, and that's going to be it for Hoffman.
I would just mainly to set up the force out at any base, load the bases up, then they'll most likely play the infield in, force out at home plate. You're probably right. Evers jumped on a fastball last time, but and again, Hutton behind him has a home run in this game as well. So these are the tough decisions that are all part of baseball that makes managing such a tough job to do.
Can you believe that Hoffman, the ace, threw a third of an inning? And he really got rocked. A home run, single, and a double, and a hard line out to second by Carruthers that ended last inning. This is Ryan Kalita that is coming in. Give you the stats on Ryan Kalita. He's 3-1. He's thrown 27 innings, 34 strikeouts, 12 base on balls, 2.33 ERA, and the Tigers not shabby. Coming up here and showing Oak Park and River Forest a tough game, and they even have a 3-run lead and can add more. If they thought they had an easy one coming in, they certainly were mistaken. And with the Tigers' opponent awaiting Chicago Simeon, if they can get these last 6 outs here, I have this feeling that that's a team that we watched and saw the whole game. I think the Tigers, especially, they threw their ace today, did the Wolverines. I think it's a team that they could beat and advance to the state championship game.
Yeah, I definitely think Chicago Simeon is a beatable team. They got good speed, somewhat solid hitting. We've seen their ace throw today in the game, and that was big for them. He also threw their last game, 11 innings he pitched in their last game, so it's going to be interesting to see who Chicago Simeon will come back with tomorrow.
Exactly, especially considering that Turner threw 11 innings in their last game. They won 3-2 in the game to this point, and it was an inside the park home run that won that for Simeon over Chicago Clemente. And Evers, a good place to start here with second and third with two Hall of Fame coaches going at it. So far right now, Pyle has had the better of it. Be interesting to get the view of the trip tomorrow, if it stays the way it is. I gotta keep saying that, knock on wood.
So really, Hampson only going 2 innings. Could we possibly see him come back tomorrow as well?
I think so, and I wouldn't be surprised. And you got James Hutton that can throw, or Brad Grodefit, Nick Seibert, and I think Hutton, after if he goes this way, only throwing 5, he could be back.
And here's the first pitch. It's in there for a strike to Evers. A bending breaking ball that caught the outer half of the plate.
Husky strategy here, playing the infield in with nobody out, runners at second and third.
Opal at third, Seibert at second. The next pitch misses inside off the catcher's glove, but not far enough for any runners to advance. 1-1 the count.
You see some good, solid baseball there. Opal in foul territory, comes down the line. He returns back to the bag in fair territory if it hits you. And then you can move up if the ball gets away. Tigers show that good fundamental play.
Matt Evers with the biggest hit in this game thus far, that grand slam last inning. The next pitch in there at the knees. A low strike. That's nothing unusual today. 1-2 the count.
Not bad, though. Evers hit the grand slam with 2 strikes on him. I know it was a different pitcher, but it was still 2 strikes.
Ryan Coletta, the right-hander, now on the mound. Facing his first batter. Checks the runner back at second and fires. Ground ball right side. It's foul ball off. Thought might it sneak in there, but it bounced foul.
And that's from the angle we have. From our angle, it looked like it may just get over the bag or somewhere close to it, but then when we saw it get closer and closer to the bag, you could tell it was going to get off foul, but he stays alive with 2 strikes.
Got a little overexcited on a foul ball there, but it's been an exciting game thus far. 7-4 the score. The Tigers on top, looking to add to it. Still nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning.
I wonder what Ralston told Coletta there. I know Evers sometimes does pull the front foot to the third base side. Maybe he's going to go off speed on the corner.
Here's the next pitch. 1-2 the count. It is off speed, look like. Low in the dirt, and it evens the count at 2 apiece. Again,
great discipline. You could have chased that one in the dirt, but Evers kept his body forward, but he held up the swing.
You talk about defense. Ralston, a very good catcher. You have to have confidence to be able to throw that change up in the dirt.
Exactly.
Especially with the runner on third. He's like, hey, I'm going to block it. It's all right if you throw it in the dirt. Here comes the 2-2 pitch up the middle. Infield in, but the shortstop gets to it. Only play to first base. They get Evers at first, but another run crosses the plate and Chad Opal. And the Tigers extend their lead now 2-4 at 8-4.
You don't mind that. I mean, it was a tough play, and Wheelie with some range. Any other shortstop that we've seen this year, that would have been through. But Wheelie made sure he got that out. And now we're going to have a pinch hitter, Tim Hansel, for Hutton. And I would not be surprised if the squeeze play is going to be on Hansel, one of the better bunters for the Tigers. Sacrificed 8 times this year. But the Tigers... The Tigers, though, with this situation, sometimes take a pitch and then decide to use a squeeze play.
Nick Seibert is at third base. 1 out now as Evers got the ground ball RBI, his 5th RBI. 4 coming on that big grand slam. 8-4 Tigers lead. Hansel is pinch hitting now for James Hutton. Left-handed batter squares the bunt here. Oh, Seibert faked the run. Hansel pulled back the bat, and it's ball 1.
Talk about getting the corners to come in quickly. It's exactly what Hansel did there by showing bunt, and good job by Seibert to get back to third.
I thought it was on there. Seibert took about 5 or 6 steps off the bag and then decided to stop. See what they go to now. Hansel ready again, squares. Seibert again charges a little ways, pulls it back, ball 2. Or excuse me, strike.
A little strategy here by the battery for the Huskies. Ralston has impressed me so much today, the backstop for Oak Park River Forest. In command with his pitchers, always seems to be encouraging them as he patted the leg there of Coletta.
So Coletta talks it over with Ralston. He's back on the mound, starting to hear a little bit of chanting from the Huskies fans.
We haven't heard that since the 4th, have we?
No, we haven't. Encouraging their Huskies to try to get out of this jam.
Big run here at third. Tigers need it.
1-1 to count on Hansel. He squared the bunt the last 2. Now he bunts it, and it's fouled off to the left side. And 2 strikes.
Now the strategy has changed with the count 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hansel, a problem there. Again, when you're going to bunt, you need the bat in front of the plate. His head of the bat was behind the plate, and that's why he fouled it off left side.
And normally, as you said, a very good bunter. He squeezed one home in the Collinsville game. Similar situation, and that time he wasn't able to get the bat out squared.
If I could have said if we can score this one that we get 9 like we did in Collinsville, I would certainly be happy. We're 1 runner away from that.
Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Hansel inside, misses. 2-2 the count now. Seibert at third base with only 1 out.
Be interesting with the infield in if we can see if Seibert will be going on contact. Hansel can end up blooping it anywhere. Could be a base hit with the infield drawn in.
Wind now kind of shifting from left to right field a bit. Coletta on the mound again from the stretch. Hansel trying to protect the play with 2 strikes. Looks at it go outside, and full count now on Tim Hansel. Pinch hitting for James Hutton.
Hansel kept the eye right there, but shoo, from up here, good thing, obviously we don't have the good as view as what he does, but from up here that looked close. Must have been just a tad outside.
Count is full now, the infield still in. They will look to cut down Seibert if it's a ground ball. Here comes the payoff pitch to Hansel. Slap to the left side, past the diving shortstop. In to score is Seibert, and Hansel's come through with a pinch hit single, and it is 9-4, and there's your 9th run, Todd.
And that's the backup second baseman for the Tigers that if he wouldn't have pinch hit, may have come in to play defense. But he's 2 for 4 in the playoffs, and 2 of his last 2, that big hit the other day against Collinsville as well as a walk. And you're right, I wanted the run, we got it, and we're up 9. And if we could get 9 today, I would have been happy. And right now, I am 6 outs away, 5 runs last inning and 3 in this inning. And there's going to be a runner. That's going to be Bill Flowers that will come in and run for Hansel as Hansel came through. He was just on the year, Tim Hansel, struggling, or really just hitting right around 200. 219 to be exact on the year. Is RBI. That's his 10th, so he's in double figures.
Not a better time to start coming alive than the state tournament.
Tigers bats have, haven't they? I mean, it's unbelievable.
It is.
Last year their bats were never around, and right here, especially in the sectionals, when their bats came around, they just scored 11 runs in regional, but they scored 22 in the sectional.
Now Flowers gets checked on, and he dives back in safely to first base as Coletta threw over. Matt Turner is now up. He is 0 for 2 today with the walk and a stolen base. Turner looks in, looking to jump in here and get a hit, join the rest of his club. Flowers a little ways off of first base, but manages to get back in as Ralston threw down there.
It's amazing how much space he had to make up, and he got there. I like that aggressive baseball. Take the chances, get about a third of the way to second, and you have that time to get back to first, and that's exactly what Flowers did right there.
And I believe, as I quickly glance, that there's only 2 Tigers without a hit today. It's a pitch inside and swung and missed by Matt Turner.
One of them at the plate, isn't it? Corey Kuba, the other one?
Yes, it is.
You are correct.
So as we said, 13 hits now, 9-13-0 for the Tigers here. Top of the 6th inning. They've already played it 3. 1 out. Bill Flowers pinch running for Hansel at first base. The next pitch is low in the dirt again. 1-1 to count on Matt Turner.
Right now, if the game stands, we can call these Tigers the comeback Tigers of 1998 because 7-2, they were down in this after 2 to Belleville East, came back and won that one 14-10, and since that point, the hitting shoes have been on for the Tigers.
And when they were down 4-1, that's the first game I was thinking. I didn't say nothing. I was like, they came back in one of these games, I remember, and I was thinking it was that Belleville East game, and they've done the same thing here, and not a better time for it.
And we were talking about the first game being the toughest with the pressure, getting used to it. Now they're acclimated to the setting here. It'll be huge for tomorrow's games if they can win.
Another one goes high and tight to Turner. 3-1 to count now on Matt Turner. Still looking for his first hit of the day. He has walked. That was in the 5th inning.
Perino back in the bullpen. He just threw 2/3 of an inning, the lefty, for Oak Park River Forest.
So Kaiser is pulling out every single trick in the hat today.
So far, none have worked as far as the middle innings here.
The next pitch to Turner, it's in there for a strike, full count.
He had the stop sign there on from Tom Pyle. He's ready to hit with the count full. Let's see him get his first hit, and everybody in the lineup today could get a hit at State already.
Here comes a payoff pitch with Flowers leading off from first base. They're holding the runner on. Pitch is popped straight up. Kalita wants to take care of it himself, and he does for the second out of the inning. So Turner cannot advance the runner, and now it's up to Andrew Heiniger, who is 2 for 3 today with a pair of singles. So Heiniger continues his hot hitting in the playoffs especially.
5 of 11 in the playoffs is Heiniger, and hitting over 500 or right around 500. By the way, my math not so good. 5 for 10 is 500. But he's picked up. Just a junior.
Flowers leading off from first. The first pitch in there on the inside corner called a strike one. And we got our little A for attitude patches.
Yeah, they give some patches out. They put it on our shirts.
And the Tigers have displayed an A attitude today, coming back from behind, as you said, leading 9-4 in the top of the 6th inning. The next pitch, kind of a curveball that stayed high. 1-1 to count now to Andrew Heiniger.
What a long couple innings for Oak Park River Forest. Since the 4th, the Tigers have been in command. They've scored 8 runs, outscored them 8-0, and Oak Park River Forest has not even had a batter reach base, as Hutton is now retired. Was it 8 or 9?
9 in a row, I believe, for Hutton.
That's correct. He did not start, but he's on the hill.
And here's a pitch. High chopper takes 2 bounces, grabbed by the shortstop. Low throw at first, but they got him to retire the side finally. And a big cheer from the Huskies fans as they're finally able to get out of it. But the Tigers put 3 runs in the top of the inning here in the 6th inning, and now they're in command, Todd, by 5 runs.
Unbelievable. 9-13-0 for the Tigers. 4-4-0 for Oak Park River Forest. But get this, the Tigers have left 8 runners on base. They've come out guns a-blazing here in this one.
And 3 home runs.
That's the thing that has just shocked me, the home runs.
Now Hutton will get ready to go back to work here.
If we can get 3 outs here and then we can get the first 2 in inning number 7, we may only see Blake Wheely again, and he can't do anything really to change the outcome of the game. That would be with 2 outs in the 7th. That would be nice. Good luxury for the Tigers to have.
So Hutton in this bottom of the 6th will face the 5, 6, and 7 batters. Hopefully that's it. As he actually entered the game in the 3rd inning, and his first batter was Gabe Schaub, the designated hitter, and he retired him on a ground out to second base. So let's hope Hutton can keep rolling. We don't want any more excitement.
None at all.
We've had plenty of excitement for this first game.
You know what I would like? An inning like last one, a strikeout on, like, I think it was 5 pitches, a ground out on 1 pitch, and then he did run the count to 2-2 the second time, but then got, or yeah, exactly, 2-2 and got another strikeout. So he threw, I think, 11 pitches last inning.
The first one is safe, swing and a miss, and I was just about to bring up the point that when the Tigers were down, we've seen them disciplined, taking a lot of pitches, working the count. And what does Shave come and do? He's down 5, and he swings at the first pitch. Now he hits the second one to right field. It may drop in there. It's trouble. It drops fair. Over to get it as Kuba quickly gets it in and hold him to a single. But Schaub is on with the leadoff single, the first runner to reach against Ben Hutton.
Unfortunate right there, because not a good swing at all, just in good placement. Corey Kuba, nice job to cut it off and not allow a leadoff double. Get a force out here, a double play, and we can take care of now with Perino at the plate, the lefty.
Perino came in to pitch and was ineffective, giving up the grand slam to Matt Evers. And that was obviously the key play of this game to this point. But now here comes the Huskies trying to fight back. Leadoff single. Perino, the left-hander, looks at a strike on the corner. Good pitch from Ben Hutton.
I'll allow that any day of the week. Hutton keeps throwing strikes, and he can give up the hits all he wants, but get away from those stupid walks. We don't need those. We had those early on, and we can see what has occurred since that time.
It cost Hampson as this one goes high, 1-1. The Huskies struck with all their runs in the first 2 innings. Coming off of Hampson, as you said, some walks really hurt in front of that wheelie home run. That's been the difference between Hutton and Hampson in this game. Now one gets away just as I speak, and down to second base goes the runner Gabe Schaub, and he's in there. Wild pitch, says the official score. Just like that, the Huskies put a runner in scoring position.
But don't worry about that. You have to get the outs. You're 6 outs away. They don't have the runners on that could defeat you. You have to get some outs now. I'd trade right now at least a run for some outs. We'll take the 3 outs for a run, trade any day of the week.
Always.
Ground ball out here, another ground ball, scores a run, that's fine as long as they get the next out.
Perino, by the way, is 0 for 2 today with a strikeout and a ground out too short. He slaps this one left field. It's deep, but now it breaks back. Good play on it as Seibert broke back at first. Did the smart thing. Unlike we've seen their center fielder, Seibert broke back, ran back, and then came back in on the ball.
Exactly, and a terrific play, and the reason that was not over his head, many people thought it was by the trajectory, but he looped that one in the air more than what we saw the Tigers. Theirs were more line drives. And Bogle, nice job there at third of knocking down the ball with his body to keep the runner at second.
And there's 1 out, now just down to 5 outs before the Tigers advance on here to play Chicago Simeon, who won the earlier game, tied, as you've been saying, 10-0.
5-inning game. I'd like to have a ground ball out here now and then another ground ball out with no runs being scored. How about that? We're getting greedy up here.
All righty, Lopez is the batter now. He looks at one sail outside. He is 1 for 2 on the day, singled and scored ahead of the wheelie home run back in the second, and then grounded into that big 6-4-3 double play that bailed the Tigers out of the 3rd inning. The next one floats, I was going to say floats outside, but it catches the quarter.
Outside strike. One of those where you give a couple inches outside it. Look to be off the plate, but Seibert right now very shallow out and left, as I saw on that last hit his direction.
Bogle even with the bag at third. Now they fake a throw back to second base as back in safely is Schaub.
I know you didn't get the glimpse of this, though, from the angle, but Carruthers came running in from center on the fake throw. Seibert even started running towards center field from left.
Very solid fundamentals by the Tigers, as always. This one catches the inside corner. Now it's 1-2 on Adam Lopez.
All right, as Oak Park River Forest faithful starts chanting over there, Hutton. Strike there for strike 2.
Lopez now in the hole, and he steps out a bit. Schaub, the runner at second base. He's there with 1 out. Bottom of the 6th inning, Tigers leading 9-4. Hutton looks back at second, now pitches, slapped foul off to the right side and well out of play. Lopez stays alive.
And that's what the Huskies need to do. They have to keep battling here. Down by 5 outs away from elimination.
So Hutton's about ready to pitch to Lopez once again, the left fielder for the Huskies. He looks back, fires, swing and a miss, struck him out, and Lopez wasn't even close on that one.
A slider that just hooked there, a sharp breaking slider, and down goes Lopez, and 2 outs here, runner still at second.
So now it's up to Matt Isley, if the Huskies are to try to score a run in this inning.
Difficult names here. Oak Park River Forest. We have some easy ones if we can win this one for tomorrow.
That's right. So Isley steps in, the right fielder. He is 0 for 2 as he flew out to right field back in the second and flew out to left field back in the 4th. 2 flyouts, and I'd take 1 more here to get the Tigers out of this inning. Runner in scoring position now with 2 outs. He led off this inning with the single.
Activity in the Edwardsville bullpen with Joe Fisher down there. That makes me think that we may see James Hutton in the 7th. Trying to save all 3. It's worked in the playoffs. They've kept all 3 of them fresh, and 3 quality pitchers for the Tigers.
Now the next one, Isley, he slaps this one foul, just trying to stay alive. Not getting good swings at Hutton.
Not at all, and there's a reason he's number 1 on the Edwardsville staff, 16-0, 44-4 in his career.
You even said it, the single that Schaub led off with wasn't a particularly good swing. It just had the eyeballs, and it found its way down the right field line. He was there with nobody out. Now there are 2 outs, and he's still perched at second base. Inside fastball, strike 3, and the Tigers are out of the inning in the 6th. No runs, 1 hit, nobody left. And after 6 innings, the Tigers are 3 outs away from advancing to the second game. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ETC Channel 6.
I'll find out for you.
In the top of the 7th, the Tigers 3 outs away from advancing to the semifinals tomorrow at 9 o'clock against Chicago Simeon, up 9-4. I'm Tom Zudi along with John Fitzgibbons, along with Gus Kodros. And we have 9-1 and 2, and back into the game for Oak Park River Forest is Chris Perino. Perino has thrown 2/3 of an inning. He gave up 1 hit, 2 runs. He is the pitcher of record. He would lose this game. Ben Hutton, the pitcher of record. I think we've seen the last of him with James Hutton in the bullpen. Here's Corey Kuba, one of 2 Tigers without a hit so far. He walked, though. He's 0 for 2. The first from Perino, high for ball 1, and that was his problem the first time we saw him.
He don't seem to have his good stuff today. He's missing everything high, and we'll take a few more runs just to put this one in the back pocket.
The 1-0 from Perino to Hutton. He hits it right side. Going back is Gisely. Going back to the track, to the wall. Goodbye. Corey Kuba gets a hit. The 4th home run for the Tigers today, and the 5th for Corey Kuba. Unbelievable. Would never have thought. And the Tigers up 10-4. 3 outs away from a contest tomorrow. It's looking bright now, John, for the Tigers.
Unbelievable. And when he first hit that ball, I was like, routine fly ball. I thought maybe it'd get into the gap, but we said the wind's blowing from left to right, and it just kind of caught up in that wind and got out of there. He hit it solid. You heard the clink off the bat, but I didn't think it was going at first.
And now the Tigers have outscored opponents 43-9 in the playoffs. And what about this, scoring 10 runs against the #1 team from Chicago? That's unbelievable.
You start checking records of 4 home runs.
The first pitch to Carruthers in the dirt for a ball, and again, falling behind the Tigers here. Carruthers on the day, 2-for-4. Triple and a single. He scored a run.
I believe that's the 2nd home run that Perino has served up today.
It is. The hit, the grand slam, the big one, was off Chris Perino.
Not a good outing for Mr. Perino today. Just don't seem to have it.
The pitch to Carruthers. Base hit, left side. Trying to cut it off is Lopez, and he will, as Carruthers rounds first, and he'll stop there. 2 hits in a row in the 7th. They're not done yet. They brought their hitting shoes to Geneva.
Start saving some of these for tomorrow, boys.
You may need them, that's for sure, but why not? Why not keep getting the confidence building and building? They're not going to see #1 as far as Chicago Simeon, or I would be shocked if they do.
You never
He
know.
only threw 5 innings, though. Did Turner. We may see him tomorrow. He did not have the quality sharp breaking off-speed stuff, but he still threw it effectively today. Runner at first. Carruthers. Bogle shows bunt. Pulls it back, takes a strike, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers aren't done yet. They want to make sure they have this one wrapped up. Tigers with the win would be 38-0.
Perino looks like he's almost starting to take something off and just lay it in there to get it over the plate.
There goes Carruthers. The bunt is there. He pulls it back, takes strike 2, and he steals second base.
You don't think the Tigers want some more runs?
They want to make sure of this one. They're going to save their pitchers. Hampson threw 2 innings. Hutton threw 4. That Ben Hutton and James Hutton now warming up. We'll see him in the 7th, and the Tigers have scored runs in each of the last 3 innings. Only today, the 1st and 3rd, where they shut out. We'll see another pitcher for Oak Park River Forest going to the bullpen with nobody out. Runner at second. Bogle at the plate. Bogle is 2 for 4 today, and 2 of his last 2 with a single and a home run. The pitch to Bogle, grounded left side. That may be through the hole, and it is. Base hit. Carruthers. He'll stop at third as he hits the bag pile, holds him up the throw. Right on the money to the catcher who blocks it, and Bogle on the missed throw takes second. Good solid base running by the Tigers.
Now a little frustration, and Oak Park starting to lose some of the fundamentals that we talked about. Solid club, but just ain't there for him today.
I would not have expected this, especially after 4 innings. Not at all. It's been disastrous for the Huskies after this, and that's solid baseball by the Tigers. Bogle taking second on an overthrow, and for the first time we've seen Wheelie being burned at short on a little slow roller between third and short. He plays so far to middle infield, and you see now he's in normal depth. Bogle at second, Carruthers at third. Tigers not done with Chad Opel at the plate. He's drilled in the left center. That's deep to the track, to the wall, and it one-hopped off the wall. 2 runs. Will score. Coghlanese brings it in. Opel chugging for third. That's his second triple of the day and his 7th of the year. Tigers now up 12-4, and they've scored 5 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, 3 in the 7th. Don't forget that one spot on the homer by Hutton in the 2nd.
Unbelievable. And there's the Edwardsville flags waving. The crowd is loving it. You don't think they've enjoyed this one today?
On a Saturday, especially. Even though the game's at 9 tomorrow, we'll see a lot more Edwardsville fans up here. And if they win tomorrow, this place will be orange on Saturday night. Expect that. Good chance to be in that state championship game also. They've beaten, I think, the toughest team that they have to face in their bracket. They'll have Simeon tomorrow. If they can hold on, they're up 12-4. 17 hits today.
Wow.
And not committed an error. That's very positive. Keep that defense and pitching up here. They have all 3 ready for tomorrow. Perino against Seibert in the dirt. Opel 3 for 5 today, along with Bogle, along with Carruthers.
More
That's great.
activity in the bullpen now. Number 17's down there warming up, and that is
The starter.
Sean O'Neill, the guy who started this game.
He was the most effective, too. He only gave up 4 runs, and we were tied when he went out. Or actually, we were 2 runs when he went out, but 2 of them were credited to him, and when Evers hit the grand slam, and that really, the key blow to the game. The player of the game, as far as what I'm concerned, Evers' big hit. But the Tigers, as a unit, just terrific. Just missed Seibert. 2 balls, no strikes. And we're having fun now, John, at State.
Perino just looks like he has nothing left, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is his last batter he faces right here.
The Tigers, we talked about it. They've seen pitchers this good this year, and they've hit them. Kicks, Seibert takes ball 3. Bases loaded, maybe for Evers again. Could he do it one more time today?
Now always talk about pitching and defense wins this game, but really throughout the playoffs, it's been the bats of the Tigers that's been surprising.
Yeah.
As you said, they failed them last year, unfortunately, but this year they made a point of it.
The Tigers can keep teams around 4 runs here. I think they've done something. Their pitching's good as Seibert takes strike 1. It's really good, but they're going to face some quality at-bats that'll go to Division I schools and maybe someday be drafted up here at State. They can keep the hitting shoes on. That'll keep them in the game. And they've only given up 4 runs in the sectional. They gave up 1 run in the regional and 4 here in the first game. But their defense is good as there's ball 4. But they've got to hit. I mean, you can talk about it, but you have to hit and come through in key situations. We lost my senior year 10-3 to South Holland Thornwood, and we stranded like 14 runners. I think it's still a record up here. And we had our chances. We just couldn't get the timely hits. Our pitching was awful that day. Our defense wasn't that great. And that's it for Perino. Perino comes in, gets nobody out.
I don't think I've ever seen this where the guy who started the game goes out in the 3rd inning and then comes back in to finish. We've seen Perino twice now. O'Neill, his 2nd time coming in. We've seen their ace Hoffman. He was ineffective. Nothing going right since the first 2 innings for the Huskies here today. And a good team, as you said, number 1 in the Chicago area, but just not their day today. And
Not at all.
It is the Tigers' day.
Fortunately for all of us in Edwardsville, it's the Tigers' day, and it looks to be that way with 3 outs away. James Hutton on deck. He's going to be your pitcher in the 7th. Ben Hutton looks to go 17-0 on the year and lower that ERA closer to 1. 8 through 4 great innings today. He struck out 5, gave up 1 hit, no runs.
So we will have seen all 3 of Edwardsville's top pitchers in this game today.
I would
go with tomorrow.
I think James Hutton or Justin Hampson, my fault, will be the starter. Him or Hutton, James Hutton tomorrow. And I think if they can jump out, which would be great against Simeon, we may see Brad Grotefin or Nick Seibert tomorrow. 4-5 and have not pitched in the playoffs, but they're undefeated and their ERAs are right around 1.
I wouldn't be surprised if we've seen Grotefin maybe start.
I wouldn't either. I mean, it would not surprise me, but I think they may go with Hutton or Hampson. But yeah, Grotefin could be a starter.
We've seen Edwardsville was scouting Simeon before the game.
Waldo was down there giving the pitch count, and he knows the Simeon hitters. He's seen them, and we've seen a better hitting club today, and we've only given up 4 runs. Although it's been against your top 2 starters. Simeon very fortunate that only East Richland was throwing the ball around and was walking as many players as they did, and I don't expect that game tomorrow. Off the stretch now, O'Neill in the game. Evers takes a strike. Nobody out, first and third. Tigers up 12-4 here in the top of the 7th. Still nobody out.
5 RBIs today for Matt Evers.
That's going to be a hardest count tomorrow, is the RBIs. For today's game, it gets away. A wild pitch. Orion will score.
Wild pitch.
And Seibert round second, a long round there, and he'll stop, and the Tigers up 9 runs. It's been consecutive runs at that. They scored 12 in a row to lead 13-4.
Evers does not get an RBI for that, I believe, doesn't it?
No, not at all.
That was his chance to drive in maybe 6, 7, or possibly 8 with another dinger here. The way the ball's been flying out, why not?
I remember a game my senior year at the plate where they wild pitched 2 runs in and we won 3-2 while I was at the plate. It was interesting. I struck out then. Evers awaiting O'Neill's delivery. That's in there for a strike, and a low strike, and I think that's one of those let's get out of here kind of strike.
Old enough now to where that story's become you had 2 RBIs in the 3-2 victory?
Exactly.
I would say.
Big game. I was 0 for 2, and I didn't hit the ball in the infield. I grounded out to the pitcher and struck out.
But I drove in 2 runs.
And my certainly worst. And then there goes Seibert to third. He'll go on the wild pitch. Demoralized Husky Ball Club right now.
Yeah, you're right. It's almost like, let's get it over with. I'd be surprised if they have much fight left in this 7th inning.
Exactly. Check on my watch. It's 3:15. The other game should have started 15 minutes ago. We're going on 3 hours this ballgame. A long game. Call this an American League normal game.
That's right, but it's coming out on the good end of the...
Exactly. I would be disappointed if it was the other way. Evers swings and misses. He goes down cutting. Evers on the day now, 2 for 3. Here's James Hutton. We'll see him on the hill. He's also 2 for 4. He singled and homered. First run for the Tigers today in the 2nd. That got the bats rolling. This team has a chance to equal the 91 club, and even better that. Chance to be 38-0. They came out the same way in the regular season with 33 wins. They can go 40-0 and win a state title, and probably one of the top 3 teams in the country, probably ranked. There's Hutton, loops it up into the left field. Lopez going back. Seibert's going to tag. He's going to score. No way will they throw Nick Seibert out. It's 14-3 or 14-4 Tigers. Up by 10. Sack fly, James Hutton. He's driven in a few today. Too many for me to count right now. I think it's 2 or 3.
2, I believe.
2 out now. I like to see that. 5 in the 3rd, 3 in the 6th, and 5 in the 7th. Pinch hitter now for Turner. We're going to get somebody else in the game for Edwardsville. Try to get a check on somebody we have no stats for, I'm sure. Not sure of the first name. Haven't seen Robert Hahn now at the plate, left-hander. Hahn is a senior, 6 foot, 150 pounds.
Now we'll try to get some stats on Mr. Hahn as we go along here.
Another left-handed batter. Hansel's hit was a big one as well for the Tigers today. Real big hit. That base hit last inning. Tigers at the time were just up, I believe it was 7-3. Here's Hahn's first pitch as he takes a strike.
Robert Hahn is not on my stat sheet, so I will go to another one. I'm going to find it, folks. Don't worry.
Fouls it off left side and just missed the crowd. A good cut, a little behind it. Like to see him hit the ball hard somewhere. I think the count's no balls, 2 strikes. The scoreboard has 1 and 1.
Only 2 at-bats on the season, or excuse me, 1 at-bat, 2 plate appearances. No hits on the year. 1 strikeout and 1 base on balls.
Chance to play in the big house here at Geneva. The pitch in the dirt. 1-2, 1 ball, 2 strikes, as the home plate umpire does say. Infield now very deep. Outfield real deep for Robert Hahn. The pitch on the way, the 1-2, outside corner. Ball 2, 2-2. Just missed high, I believe, on that one. Fastball from O'Neill. You'd think if at the end of the game your starter closes it, that you're going to win. Not the case so today. They've used everybody, and the Tigers have lit up everybody. Hahn swings and misses. He strikes out. We're going to the big bottom half of the 7th. The Tigers score 5 more runs, and they lead 14-4 in a game that has turned out, in my opinion, to be shocking here at the outcome and how big it is. At Geneva, at Elstrom Stadium, I'm Tom Zudi, along with John Fitzgibbons, Gus Kodros. The Tigers look to be victorious and face Chicago Simeon tomorrow.
And unfortunately, we will have to face Wheelie one more time, but
I don't mind now.
Yeah, 10-run lead, I don't think he's going to hurt us too much.
Especially considering he's going to bat maybe with 1 out.
And he's had the biggest blow for Oak Park today for their offense, the 3-run home run coming in that 2nd inning, and the Tigers were down 4-1. The Huskies were cruising until that big 5th inning, and that's when the Tigers exploded. Their bats came alive, and it's been rolling ever since then. They put up 3 in the 6th, 5 more in the 7th, and are in command and bring on Simeon tomorrow.
Simeon's 34-7, so it'll be 34-7 Chicago Simeon tomorrow against 38-0 Edwardsville if they can get these last 3 outs. James Hutton is still behind the plate, so Ben is still on the mound. I'm very much surprised by that. Maybe we'll see James Hutton throwing starting tomorrow. I would not be surprised. At least start things off, maybe if they can get ahead, use Grotefin or Seibert, and then go with any of your top 3 tomorrow.
Oh, if we see Hutton throwing tomorrow, James Hutton that is, I almost say you have to, if I don't want to put the jinx on anything, but if you can get by Simeon, you have to come back with Ben Hutton on Saturday
You
night.
have to start him, I think, just to show him. He's thrown 5 innings. I would assume, what do you think? He's thrown 60 pitches maybe this year. He's been very effective. He's given up just 1 hit. He's retired a ton of Huskies. Tigers up 14-4 in the bottom of the 7th. Here's Mike Coglanice at the plate. Hutton throws ball 1. Coglanice on the day, 0 for 1. He walked and scored the 3rd run. Hutton on the 1-0 after the long inning. Strike outside corner on the fastball. Hutton needs to get in a groove here in the 7th and end this one. Swings, hits it right side, down the line. That's a base hit. Trying to cut it off is Corey Kuba as Coglanice rounds first. He'll go for second. There's a play there. The throw's on the way. A 1-hopper. He's safe. Terrific job by Corey Kuba out and right to get to the ball and made a 1-hop peg to second. Coglanice stand-up double. Makes me wish James Hutton was starting this inning. I don't want to see Ben throw too many pitches here in the 7th.
No, I'm surprised at that too, unless, like you said, they're going to hold him back and start James Hutton tomorrow, which they most likely will. But
I like this situation where you throw all 3 and have them ready for the championship game. If one's not effective, maybe somebody else will be. That was the case today. Hampson, quality pitcher, just didn't have it today. Hutton with nobody out here. Off the stretch, Oak Park getting into it. Off speed, slider, low, ball 1.
that was the Huskies' first hit since, second hit since the big 2nd inning.
Second off of Hutton. Second off of him, Blake Wheelie at the plate, 1 for 2 today with a home run. Off speed, James Hutton does a nice job of getting the body in front of it. 2-0 now, and this is exactly what Hutton does not want to do, is walk somebody here and get a rally going. You need to get at least a couple outs very quickly. That way you only need 1 more. In there for a strike on the 2-1.
He challenged Wheelie. That's their big hitter, but
he's retired him today once already. He's 0 for 1 is Wheelie against Hutton. Didn't mean to cut you off there. Out of the open stance on the 2-1. Hutton rocks and fires, pops it up right side again. Back to Honegger. He took care of Whaley last time for the first out. We're 2 outs away from the semifinals.
And he got him with that exact same pitch. Fastball in on the hands. Did not let Whaley extend his hands, and he gets him to pop out once again, just as he did back in the 4th.
He rides it in on the fist, does Hutton. On the fastball, he has that movement. Inside, he drops down 3/4 like he did there. Brings up number 2 in the order, the second baseman, Scott Ligon. Ligon today, 1 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Hutton got him in the 5th. There's a ball, outer half on the fastball. On deck then is Vasily Spanos, the third baseman, also is just 0 for 2. He walked, ground ball right side. Honegger can come up with it for the second out. There it is, 1 out away. Spanos at the plate as Honegger takes care of Ligon. Would you have thought this, a 10-run win for the Tigers? First 2 games would be 10 runs. I know 1 was a rule. This one went all 7. We'll have 2 tomorrow.
At least 2. Hopefully the last one being at the 7 o'clock game.
And a big celebration here. I was here for a couple in 90 and 91, a celebration and a major disappointment. I'd love to see another celebration. Second state title for Tom Pyle. Slider hit off to the right side and out of play, and a great catch by a fan in the Edwardsville section. It's been going Edwardsville's way here since the 5th. Not sure if he was actually from Edwardsville, but nice play.
It's the Edwardsville section also. We'll claim him as one of our fans today.
Why not? And I hope to see a huge crowd up here tomorrow. That'll be great on a Saturday.
Definitely pack the car up, get up here, watch these Tigers go for the state title. As we talked about before, maybe Tom Pyle's last year.
I would
make
think
him go out a winner.
I would think now it may be, especially if he makes it to the state championship. It could be it for Tom Pyle. The 0-2, 1 strike away. Hutton comes set, swinging and a miss, and there it is. The Tigers will advance with a 14-4 thumping of Oak Park River Forest. Unbelievable. The Tigers really exploded. After 5, or actually after 4, we'll come back right after this, though. Wrap this one up. A huge game for the Tigers. You're watching Tiger Baseball on ECTV Channel 6. Back at a very happy Edwardsville section at Elstrom Stadium here in Geneva. The Tigers victorious with a 14-4 beating of Oak Park River Forest. The Tigers totals, they score 14 runs on 17 hits. They commit no errors. Oak Park River Forest, 4 runs on just 6 hits. No errors for the Huskies, but the Tigers play Chicago Simeon tomorrow, a team that's 34-7. Ben Hutton picks up win number 17 and 45 in his great career at Edwardsville. He gave up just 2 hits. He struck out 6, and he walked no one. That's commonplace for Ben Hutton. Hampson will be ready to go tomorrow in either the semis or finals or third place game. The loser is Chris Perino, who just threw an inning, but it was a scattered innings at that. Actually, I think it was 2/3. He got nobody out. And that last time he came in twice, so he pitched 2/3 of an inning, gave up 2 runs, and he is the losing pitcher after that big grand slam by Matt Evers. Is the biggest surprise, John, for you, the 4 home runs for the Tigers today?
That has to be the biggest surprise. The 4 home runs, the 14 runs, like 18, 19 hits, I believe it was. They shut off the scoreboard on us, but just an overall effort, especially all coming in the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning. The Tigers were being shut down. Sean O'Neill looked like he was cruising. And as you said, they faced just about every good pitcher Oak Park had, and they drilled everybody.
Huge surprise as far as what I'm concerned. The win, not so much, but the 14-4 score, as everybody in the St. Louis area is going to see probably later today, you're going to be shocked at the score that you take care of the #1 team in Chicago, 14-4. Unbelievable. And the next game is between Ottawa, the Pirates, and Tinley Park Andrew, another highly touted team. We'll stick around to watch this one because I would not be surprised if Tinley Park Andrew is a team that we may get to face sometime tomorrow evening. That would certainly be interesting. So the Tigers improved to 38-0. Oak Park River Forest falls to 36-5. And the Tigers will play in the semis against Chicago Simeon tomorrow at 9 o'clock. I hope to see a large crowd here at Edwardsville. For my partner, John Fitzgibbons and Gus Kodros doing the camera work for us today, I'm Todd Zutti. Again, the Tigers a win of 14-4. We've been watching state quarterfinal action on ECTV Channel 6.